1996, the year of the rookie. 21-year-old Craig Lowndes arrived on the V8 Supercar scene with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer, demolishing the opposition with a crushing combination of fine equipment, youthful exuberance and lightning speed. 1997, the dawn of a new decade in Shell Australian Touring Car Championship history. The thundering 600 horsepower V8 Supercars are back, but minus our reigning champ. This year, Lowndes is Euro-bound, chasing his dream of Formula One fame. But his Holden Racing Team legacy lives on. In 1997, Bathurst-winning teammate Greg Murphy takes over the country's #1 V8 seat. The battle for supremacy between supercar rivals Ford and Holden is set to explode. Ford's new EL Falcon against the General's latest VS Commodore. Young guns like Murphy, Ellery, Richards and Romano, hungry to follow Lowndes' tyre tracks all the way to tin-top stardom against superstars like Johnson, Brock, Perkins and Bow. The wait is over. The V8 Supercars are ready to rumble as Network 10 welcomes you to Calder Park Raceway under lights for the opening round of the 1997 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship.
Well, it certainly is a very colourful grid for the opening round of the 1997 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. There's AJ, Alan Jones, sitting on the grid in his Komatsu Falcon. We are set for a start. Watch the lights change from red to green. We are away, and the 1997 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship is underway. It's Gardner. Wayne Gardner gets away to a terrific start. So too did Glenn Seaton.
Yes, Seaton down the outside. Now look at this. Oh, I'd say it's going to be Seaton.
Seaton has got a tremendous run on the outside. Murphy's got the inside run into this tight hairpin, or this tight right-hander.
Oh, look at this, look up the back. Oh, boy, that's Mark Larkham got off there, and
one of the Shell Helix cars, by the looks of it, too. That looked like Dick Johnson caught up in that.
I think it's Johnny Bow, I'm not sure, but that's it. It's so sad, you know, everybody, no, DJ, you're right. It's, you would think everybody would say, we've got to take it easy on the first corner, but the old adrenaline rush gets the best of you, and Greg Murphy looks like he's got a bit between his teeth.
So it's Greg Murphy has already pulled out a couple of car lengths over the Coca-Cola Commodore of Wayne Gardner. Let's have a look at the Shell Helix replay of that first corner incident. There's Johnson spinning, top right-hand corner of your screen. It looked like Mark Larkham, Stevie Richards, and there goes Chris Smurden just avoiding contact around the outside.
Poor old Mark Larkham doesn't get a lot of luck, does he?
No chance at all. Greg Murphy has got quite a good gap over Gardner at the moment. Then we go back to the Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton. Mark Scaife back in fourth as Gardner smokes it up. And we have a great look here at the young gun, Greg Murphy, filling some very big shoes of Craig Lowndes from last year. And if you can follow his track record so far, it's pretty impressive.
Oh, incredible. I was talking to him earlier on, and he was saying that, you know, I've got a hard act to follow, but when you look at how he did in the latter part of last season and so far this year, he hasn't done too bad, has he?
It's good to see John Bow working his way up into the top 10. We've got a good battle on. Look towards the top of your screen there, Mark Scaife and Alan Jones. Here goes Jones having a look up the inside. He's a little too far back at the minute, though. Scaife in the Coopers and Librand Commodore. Locks it up there.
That's a good little mix. Whoa, go for it, AJ. Good little mix there, because as far as AJ is concerned, he's definitely not... wasn't at the back of the queue when they handed out Bravery, and as far as Mark Scaife is concerned, he's not too worried about having a little nudge here and there, so it should be quite a laugh to see him get together.
Great to see AJ with some sponsorship on that car with the Komatsu signage on it, because not so long ago he was doing it tough for some sponsorship.
That's true. It'd be interesting to see down the straight, actually, between Scaife's car and AJ's, because although Scaife was saying that his car isn't quick, and we shall see now. Watch this.
Runs a little bit wide there.
Yeah, just be interesting. Well, it's not that slowly, is it?
He was saying that he thought he was about 3 or 4 kilometres slower than everybody else, but he's held his own there against Allen, didn't he?
Well, they came out much of a muchness acceleration-wise out of the right-hander, and it didn't look as if AJ had sort of anything on top speed.
Order still remains the same. It's Greg Murphy, Wayne Gardner, Glenn Seaton, and here's the battle for 4th and 5th. It's a beauty. Mark Scaife is holding on. He's forcing off the challenge from Alan Jones in the Komatsu Falcon, sitting back in 5th position at the moment, really hassling Scaife big time.
I tell you, it makes my day when you see AJ when he's got the needle. You know, when AJ really gets the eyes on, and he can certainly put it together, there's no doubt whatsoever. And you see at the end of last season at Bathurst, and look at him having a little go now. He's definitely a good runner, AJ.
This could be the one if Alan Jones can.
Now, but look at that. You see
Scaife's
thing, that ain't slow. You look at Scaife's things pulling away down the straight.
Got a very good exit out of that bottom corner. Here goes Alan Jones, as he's done in the past few laps. Has a look up the inside of Scaife. And Scaife has been running a little wide in this one. He likes a wider line. AJ tucks it on the inside. Here's a go.
Oh,
Jones right up the back
nudge.
of Scaife. Fantastic stuff. This is the battle for 4th and 5th. It's Mark Scaife in the Coopers and Lybrand Commodore, the Komatsu Falcon of Alan Jones, all over the back of him. Up and over the hill they go. Whoa, it's Stevie Richards.
Oh, dear
Mark
me.
Poole as well. They have gone right off. That was Mark Poole and John Faulkner. Oh, no.
Dear me.
So Faulkner, Mark Poole and Stephen Richards all victims in that first corner. Well, what a start to 1997 for Greg Murphy. He makes his way up towards the finish line, and in his debut run, well done, Greg Murphy. He takes out race 1 here at Calder Park. Truly great effort by the young Kiwi. A really good drive to take the win. Gardner will remain in 2nd spot in the Coca-Cola Commodore. Coming across the line, the lights on. Glenn Seaton remains in 3rd position. Mark Scaife has done well to hang on to 4th. And Alan Jones will come in for 5th. Here we go. Doesn't that look fantastic? Watch the lights. They'll come up to red and go to green any second now. We're away. Race 2 of the opening round of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship.
Yeah, it's Seaton, great start from him. He's on the right side of the road to nip up the inside of the first corner. Let's have a look.
Glenn Seaton got away beautifully on the inside, and he's there. Bit of a touch from Gardner. Gardner slots into 2nd. Murphy's out wide. It looks like Peter Brock's jumped into that 3rd position on the inside.
Oh,
Stevie Richards exactly the same as what he did as in race 1. Overshot the first turn.
God, he'll be angry with himself. Exactly the same. Can't believe it.
They work and wind their way around. Here they come over to the back part of the circuit. It is Seaton has got away to a fantastic start. Wayne Gardner slotted in behind him. You can see the field under lights with their lights on. It looks fantastic. Onto the main straight yet again for the second 20-lapper of 3.
Just getting into slipstream. Oh, one side. Oh, we're going to see it.
Tries the outside option.
Long way round.
It is definitely long way around in that tight right-hander at turn 1. Have a look at Russell Ingall in the background, looming up behind Greg Murphy. There he is there. Trying to put it up the inside, but couldn't quite get through on Wayne Gardner. This is unbelievable racing.
This is doing Ingall the biggest favour possible, because by the time Gardner is frightened with Murphy, then Ingall's going to nip up the inside of the pair of them.
There's the Shell Helix race update for you. Seaton, Gardner. Then we go back. Murphy, Ingall, followed by Mark Scaife. That's your top 5. And we're watching 2, 3 and 4. This is just awesome. Gardner sitting in the hot seat. Can he handle the pressure? Murphy has got Russell Ingall all over the back of him. Russell Ingall picked up his maiden touring car victory here last year. Round 6 of the championship last year. There's an HRT Commodore sitting in front of him. When we go down trackside with Mark Osler.
Greg Murphy be looking for a nice clear screen there. When they had the break for dinner and the cars went down for the pit walk, the bonnet pins weren't in the mobile car and the bonnet flipped up and broke the windscreen. So Murphy's got a new screen in the car. Just shows the best team can make mistakes at the worst of time.
Yeah, it's funny. It looks like Ingall's dropped back fractionally now. Having said that, Ingall's lapping faster than Murphy and Gardner.
Well, there's a quick shot of our race leader, Glenn Seaton. Let's not forget about him. He is still well out in front. Here is 2, 3, 4 and 5. Murphy's overdone it! Oh, no!
Dear me.
Greg Murphy has overdone it and has gone off at the end of the main straight. So he leaves himself with a lot of work to do and has just given up 3rd place.
Oh. Yeah, oh dear me, he's got himself off his Christmas card list. Yeah, that's always the problem. You're really under pressure, you're having a good go, and when it's too late, it's too late.
So that now elevates Russell Ingall up into third spot. Here's the Shell Helix replay.
Just locked her up straight. It looked like the rears really locked up a hell of a lot. Well, the fronts didn't lock up at all, did they? Locked up the rears. So, bit of brake balance problem there.
So, hard luck there for Greg Murphy. No win will come for him in this second race, but it's looking pretty good for this guy on screen at the moment. The Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton has got, well, there you go. It's a very healthy gap. Almost a 3-second gap back to the second place runner in Gardner. You just saw the speed flash up on screen there. How quick Seaton is down the main straight here at Calder Park. He's looking very tidy at the moment, Barry.
Oh, that's the greatest thing about Glenn Seaton. He's a real trier, yet he keeps the thing on the island most of the time. When you see him, it doesn't look like he's fighting it at all, does it?
Well, the gap is 0.7 of a second. And you can see it with your own eyes that Gardner is only really a couple of car lengths behind Seaton and really starting to turn it on in the dying stages. The Bridgestone shod car of Glenn Seaton at Ford Credit Falcon back to the newly Yokohama shod car of Wayne Gardner, who really comes up under brakes.
Oh, Larry goes.
Replay of Perkins just spinning there. Let's go down trackside. Here's Mark Osler.
Yeah, it's interesting, Lee, watching this battle. Just looking at that myself. Larry smoking them up, getting back onto the track. They're all pumped up here under lights, no doubt about it. Looking at that battle between Gardner and Seaton. Because Gardner switched to Yokohama tyres this year, he has the ability of being able to swap the rears with the fronts. They're interchangeable. So maybe at this stage of the race, the second race, they've only got 6 tyres to play with.
Well,
he just got him.
Gotcha.
So Gardner really has some sort of grip advantage here, and he's certainly using it to maximum effect.
Just going berserk is Wayne Gardner. Well, we were inside Glenn Seaton's Ford Credit Falcon, and you saw Gardner just slip up the inside. A beautiful move. So a new race leader.
And he's pulling away. Look how quick he's pulling away.
This is just fantastic for the Coca-Cola Wayne Gardner racing team. A great way to start 97. He was a little bit down in the dumps. Here's the Shell Helix
on
replay.
The brakes.
Look at the disc glowing.
Oh, clean up on the curve.
Seaton tried to come back on the inside. You now ride at the front of Glenn Seaton's car. Wayne Gardner is one lap from victory.
Oh, look at Seaton. That'll be a big one if he can do it around the outside.
Here comes Glenn. He won't be giving in either. This is the run to home. Seaton's got to do it, and he's got to do it soon.
Oh!
Has a look up the inside of Wayne Gardner. This would be...
Well, there's only one more chance. That's the second little tight S's down here, up the inside, but there's no chance Gardner's going to leave the door open.
Wayne Gardner would be so pumped up inside the car at the moment. This is it. It's on for young and old. Gardner's going for his second career win. His first one was at Mallala last year in race 3. Can he do it again? Seaton! Glenn Seaton is all over the back of him, but it's all too late. Gardner's going to have the run to home in the Coke Commodore. Well done, Wayne Gardner. He takes out race 2 here at Calder Park. A fantastic effort.
Yeah, good. Great race, and I have to say, very well-deserved win from Gardner.
We're getting ourselves set for a start. Race 3, the third and final event on the program. Watch for the green light. There it is. Away we go. This is it. Can Gardner make it? A winning round. He doesn't get away to the best of the starts. It's Seaton.
Maybe just Seaton by the looks of it.
A great start by the Ford Credit Falcon. He comes blasting down the outside. It is Glenn Seaton who will take him into turn 1. Gardner has tucked up into second and third. John Bow has come blasting through.
Nearly second. Oh dear, that's getting a bit close.
We ride now with Dick Johnson, the Shell Helix in-car camera. We're on top of Dick's car, though, having a look at the field, trying to sort themselves out. Peter Brock out to the outside there. They all get through that section of the circuit okay, but it's Glenn Seaton who's just bolted away. Mark Scape is up in third. There's the 2 Castrol Perkins Commodores sorting themselves out just ahead of what looked like Mark Poole.
Boy, you got to hand it to Bowie. That was a brilliant start, wasn't it? John
Bowers up there in 4th position. Blasted through on the inside. So it's Seaton, Gardner, Bow. There your top 3. Here we have a look at it. Scaife is... Scaife is up in the top 3 ahead of Bow. He's right behind Gardner. Mark Scaife's had a good night. He's still up there in the points, not too far out of it.
Well, he has, and when you consider he hasn't done much testing and the old budget doesn't exist, he's not doing too bad at all.
Coopers and Lybrand giving Gibson Motorsport team some support. Here we go. Have a look at this. Greg Murphy and John Bowe.
Oh, no.
We saw Wayne come on very strong in the last race to work his way past Glenn Seaton and win. He might be able to do weave a little bit of magic here and get himself past Scaife. And in fact, if he finishes in that second position...
Oh, now back Marcus City. Here we go.
Oh, and Scaife has gone. Mate, Scaife has gone. Out. Oh, that is very disappointing for Mark Scaife. We were riding with Wayne Gardner. You saw it through Gardner's windscreen. He just drifted off the end of the straight.
Well, it's same old story. You're under pressure. You're trying as hard as you can. If you back it off, you're going to get beaten. If you go into it, you can outbrake yourself, and that's what Scaife did.
Poor old Mark Scaife. He's going to have to keep a keen eye out because here comes John Bowe. Here is the Shell Helix replay.
Well, look at the disc. Look at that. Oh, what a great shot of the disc. Look.
Awesome. Just glowing. So hot. And poor old Mark Scaife has just gone off the end of the straight. That allowed Gardner and Murphy to come on through. Coming into the bottom turn, let's have a look what Russell Ingall's got up his sleeve.
His arm, I think, because he'll never get around the outside. Scaife back up in the picture again, look.
Here he is on the inside.
Gotcha.
Jimmy, the big nudge on the inside.
Oh, God. Out.
Can he save it?
Can he? Yes, he has.
Well done, Greg Murphy.
Whoa.
He hung on to it. I thought it was Tyre Wall City there for a moment. There you go.
Oh, JP.
Ingall had more up his sleeve than his arm.
You're right. Yeah. Oh, dear, that was a good one, wasn't it? Like that.
Bit of push and shove from Russell Ingall.
JB, yes, gotcha.
So they're coming from everywhere, the challengers. Poor old Greg Murphy's getting pushed back position by position each time the further he goes around the track.
And I think he can hear his team manager's voice echoing in his ears.
Oh, look at that! He's coming from Alan Jones.
Oh, it's not Murphy's day, is it?
This is the big hello and welcome to V8 Supercar racing for Greg Murphy. It was interesting that the previous lap, wasn't it? The HRT car over the Castrol car, and then Ingall's car.
Oh, no!
Mark Scaife has done it again. He's just overcooked it. Let's hope he can get back on and maintain at least a top 10 position if everything's okay. Having a bit of trouble getting going again. Now he finds gear and away he goes. Rejoins the circuit okay. Then this third and final one. All the credit's going to go to the Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton. Got away to a terrific start.
Oh, yeah, you've got to say that Seaton is really good at starts. There's no doubt whatsoever. And it makes life so much easier. You can get into the first corner first rather than getting like 3 paces down. It gives you so much work to do that you don't really need.
He's going to bring it home, and he's going to give the Ford fans something to cheer about because they've brought it on home ahead of the Holdens for this third and final one. Well done, Glenn Seaton. He takes out race 3 here at round 1 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship for 97. There he is. No excess of emotion. He just seems quite happy and content. Round 2 of the 1997 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Seaton and Murphy, they share the front row of the grid. Glenn Seaton has won 3 of the past 4 years here. Could this be his 4th? We get ready to go. The lights are green. We are away. Murphy got away to a terrific start. He got away much better than Seaton. There's mayhem on the start. One car stalled there. They were just scurrying, trying to get around that car. I didn't pick up who it was. Oh!
There's been a big accident. Yeah, Peter Brock stuck on the line. There's Paul Romano. There's been a number of cars involved in that dust. Yellow flags waving.
Cars just going everywhere. It is Mark Larkham in the Mitre 10 Falcon.
This guy is jinxed. There is no 2 ways about it.
Look at the damage on that car.
Lee, that car is destroyed. They'll be taking that one to the tip for sure.
Well, the cars were just going everywhere as they came over the hill. Just under the bridge there is Paul Romano. He's okay, he's looking around, but the car off to the side of the circuit. We saw that Greg Murphy got away to a terrific start. One other car stalled on the grid, and they were just scurrying around that. Now, whether that's caused that later incident, Mark.
Good example, too, of just the amount of acceleration these cars have got coming off the start line. By the time those guys a bit further back in the grid have hit the start-finish line, they have got plenty of speed on board. Let's look at this on the Shell Helix replay.
See if we can decipher who has done what.
So the Mobile Holden Racing Team car in the front. Jones made an excellent start too, and there's a collision back there between Mark Larkham. You could see Larkham collide with someone, and kapow!
Romano was in there, whether he made initial contact or not. It was very hard to work out.
Charlie, how did you see it?
Yes, definitely. I'd say Romano may have tapped the back of Mark Larkham's car there that sent Mark into the wall. I just saw through the vehicles there, and I'd say that's probably what happened.
We all get away to a clear start. It's the Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton, though, who will take this field of 23 through the first turn.
Boy, it's a big day for the Fords too. This is the first pole position for a Falcon since Malala, round 9 of the series last year. So the Fords have been out of it for a number of races, but Seaton absolutely dominant through private practice and in qualifying, and showing the speed here in this opening lap.
Greg Murphy tucked in nicely behind. Then we pick up Russell Ingall, his teammate Larry Perkins, and the first of the Shell Fords.
Notice too, the race distance has been reduced from 12 laps down to 10 because of that accident. Seaton in command. Now Murphy tries to muscle the Ford Credit. He gets a biff, and the Castrol Commodore comes up behind him too.
Russell Ingall really climbing all over the back of Greg Murphy.
Well, a bit of battle damage there right across the back bumper of Seaton's car. Murphy leaving him in no doubt. He means business here at Phillip Island today. Here they come, thundering up toward Lukey Heights, building up to over 200 kilometres an hour. Hear the roar, these 600 horsepower V8 monsters as they head over Lukey Heights the first time. Seaton's got his rear view mirror full of Holden Racing Team Commodore. Then it's Russell Ingall, Larry Perkins, and the first of the Shell Fords.
Well, the dice continues here. I think that was a little tap from Greg going into Honda corner there. And this is the dice to watch between these two drivers.
Oh, look at Murphy get all skated. He comes over the cars at a very light there. A lot of the sprung weight of the car's right up on its springs. Look at another one. Contact between John Faulkner and Paul Romano in the wars again.
So Romano has been involved in both incidents. Both of our main incidents today, the one originally with Mark Larkham, that one with John Faulkner, and he's now got a lot of work to do.
And here's this great battle for second and third. It's been on since the second green light we had up at Axton. Look at Murphy now. Tries to get a bit of a toe. Run down the outside. 270 kilometres an hour, and Murphy takes him.
Unbelievable. Greg Murphy has gone right around the outside. Now Russell wants a piece of the action as well. Coming right up.
No guts, no glory. Greg Murphy shows that there. Really quick run onto the straight. Look at Ingall muscling the back of the Holden Racing Team Commodore, leaning on him big time. Now he's got a good fast run out of the southern loop. They'll go side by side under the Foster's Bridge at 240 kilometres an hour. And there'll be a great braking duel as they come down toward Honda corner this time. Perkins wants a slice of the action too. There's little rocks and debris across the circuit. Murphy now holds onto that position. Perkins joins in the war.
Mark, that was probably about the best half lap that I've seen in racing. That was great racing, door handle to door handle.
As he dominates this race, we go on board with Glenn Seaton as he brings it around this final lap, lap 10. Be completed this time around, still sucking on that drink straw. It looks so relaxed. Looks like he's driving down to the shops. Doing it very, very easy, coming up toward Lukey Heights. Ford Credit Falcon, this will be a great comeback for Seaton after that terrible one at Surfers Paradise where his spare car got hammered. And he's come back flying colours as the championship continues.
He is just one of the nicest blokes in racing. He doesn't carry any attitude with him. He said he knew that he was going to have a good weekend, but it didn't let himself get carried away. He said, we'll wait and see. Qualified on pole, hasn't looked back since. Has done very, very well. He's had a great race. The Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton comes through to take the win.
Yeah, but just
go back to second and third.
Just saw that Russell Ingall coming in second position under where Murphy's got to. We just saw him out of shot. So Ingall now has finished second, Murphy in third.
Glenn Seaton is set to do it again. Lights are green, we are away. Race 2, we start. The two Castrol Commodores got away to a beautiful start. Seaton looked like he got away well also as we have a look. It's one of the Castrol Commodores in Russell Ingall. Will lead the pack through. Seaton's boxed in and Perkins goes right around the outside.
Absolutely brilliant start from the Castrol duo. Russell Ingall, big aggressive run on Murphy in that last heat. Murphy reckons Russell used him as a braking marker as they came over the top of Lukey Heights. No love lost between those two. Murphy will have him in his sights as they come down toward Honda for the first time.
Race 1 winner Glenn Seaton back in third, just ahead of Greg Murphy. Then we pick up Alan Jones, followed by John Bow, Dick Johnson. This one is the full distance, 12 laps, hard on the brakes, down into Honda corner they go.
Bumper to bumper, door handle to door handle. We've got the Lansvale Smash Repairs car. Bit of contact back in the pack there. Trevor Ashbury, lucky to slide along the grass, keep it off the racing line and get back into the battle.
We work it round. Have a look at Greg Murphy. He's looking for options all the time, inside, outside, wherever he can possibly go. He's sizing up Glenn Seaton, here they come. This is an interesting part of the track. Murphy goes the outside now. He won't get Seaton there. He's got the more preferred line, but he's trying to get us set up for the next corner.
Is he going to run out of road? No, he took it a bit conservatively there. Just tucked back in behind the Ford to fight another day. But Murphy is so pumped up after that incident. He wants to get to Ingle, but he's got a lot of work to do. Russell now 4.5 seconds in front of his teammate Perkins here. As we go back on board, Glenn Seaton's Ford credit Ford. Shifting up through the gears, accelerating up to 240 kilometres an hour. Look how hard that suspension's working as they head up toward Lukey Heights. Cars get very light.
Well, Mark, what a tough job it is there for Glenn Seaton. He's sandwiched in between. He wants to get past. He's faster than Larry. Larry's blocking everywhere he can, which is legal to do so. But he's got to watch out for Greg Murphy. Greg is on a charge, and he could easily slip back another place. Mark, I think that little slide that Larry had back there on the Eastern Loop, I think it may have had a little touch from Glenn.
Keeping you in touch further back in the field, Faulkner is in 8th, Brock is in 9th, and Stephen Richards has come up into the top 10. So they're right on the pace as well, but we stay with this battle. 2nd, 3rd and 4th. It's Castrol Commodore, Ford Credit Falcon and Mobile Commodore.
Well, this will be a great result for the Dunlop teams. Tyre they used at the Australian Grand Prix so successfully, proving very effective at Phillip Island this afternoon too. Whoa! Oh, look where he's heading. Goodness me, there's going to be a big accident. Murphy, straight on.
Wow. Charlie,
well, I think something had to break in the car there. It is a very fast corner, as we know, but he just went straight off. Never even looked like turning around the last part of the corner.
Some major steering problem or something.
That would have been a terrifying ride for Greg Murphy. Let's hope he's okay. He's hit that wall very, very hard. Look at the damage to the front of the car. Greg Murphy, well, he's conscious. It looks like he's talking to his crew. He's pushing that button on the wheel. Let's hope he's okay. Well, it looks like he might be, but boy, he would have taken the wind out of him, that impact.
The front of that car is just completely destroyed. Greg's getting out of the car, and as we said, we hope that he's all right.
Well, full credit to the guys who build these cars, because look at the strength of that chassis. Murphy can walk out of that. He's had a major impact. Look at that. He really has had the wind knocked out of him.
Yes, he'd be reeling after that, not only because he's out of the race, he's out of the points, but that would have been very hurtful.
Yeah, we may have a red flag situation here. We're just checking with race control. But Murphy lying on the grass there. Yeah, red flag's out.
So let's have a look at this incident. Greg Murphy there, some people in attendance. Here is the replay. Now watch him. He just doesn't make the corner. He just goes straight ahead. So, Charlie, there's got to be some steering problems.
Yes, definitely. Either something mechanical or a tyre is deflated.
Now watch this. Full impact, unabated speed, kapow! Almost like a bomb going off. Look at the dirt get lifted up. He rolls it over, and fortunately the car ends back on its wheels.
Mark, there's plenty of runoff room there. There's a long way between the track, excuse me, between the track and the barrier. But what a shame there's not some sort of slowing down device there, because it could have saved that sort of damage.
Well, we're just saying what a fine line these guys are riding. You think of the average speed of these cars at Phillip Island. When something goes wrong with the car, you really pay a heavy price.
Well, he's a fit young guy, and let's hope that he pulls through that one okay. We did see him get out of the car, and I'm sure that they'll just be checking him out, making sure that he is okay. Certainly the car has sustained a huge amount of damage coming in contact with that wall. We were almost at the end of the second race. In fact, they were just about to complete lap 10. Here is the Shell Helix race score for you. Russell Ingall at the time was in the lead. Perkins was in 2nd, Seaton was in 3rd, Bow 4th and Jones 5th. That is the end of that race. We've just had information. Race 3 for today. What does this one hold in store? We'll have to wait and see. We aren't too far away from a start. The two Castrol Commodores alongside each other. Larry Perkins and Russell Ingall. Can Russell take out the points for today? He's been having some great runs of late. Here we go. We've got a start. Green lights. Oh, Seaton. Glenn Seaton hasn't got off the line. He's pulled off to the side. Some major problems with the Ford Credit Falcon, so he does not go anywhere.
Well, it looks like Peter Brock has this big sweep around the outside by Larry Perkins. They were side by side as Ingall and Perkins came down the straight, but Larry, a faster run, sweeps across in front of his teammate and leads this big field through the Southern Loop for the first time. Alan Jones, great start too. He's up in 3rd. And there is Glenn Seaton. Boy, he'd be disappointed about this. He wanted to come to Phillip Island. and walk away with the maximum points haul. He certainly had the speed, but mechanical dramas have shut him down.
That is such a shame for Glenn Seaton. He is out of this one and out of the points for the day, but Alan Jones is up there in third. He is going really well, right up behind Russell Ingall as they come out of Honda corner. John Bowe, Peter Brock, then we go back to Dick Johnson and John Faulkner sitting in there in the Fisher-Paykel machine.
Hard under brakes as they come over Lukey Heights now. It's going to be interesting to see what Russell Ingall does with it. He just sits in behind the boss, very much aware of his point situation today, and pick up that second or third he needs if Perkins wins, of course. So there's a lot of different scenarios here that can unfold over these next few laps.
Well, you couldn't ask for the top 8 or 9 to be any closer. Wayne Gardner in the Coke Commodore has got himself up into the top 10 behind Tony Longhurst and Stevie Richards, so they're doing quite well. But we're watching the front end of the field. It is still Perkins and Ingall. Watch the speed go up. Our laser speed, 240, 259. It's climbing, getting up, 270 now. 270 kilometres per hour as they head down the main straight.
Super concentration needed for that fast right-hand corner at that sort of speed. As I say, the corner tightens up and you need to be exactly on the right part of the track or you will have an accident.
Larry Perkins maintaining that 1 minute 36 second bracket, 36.56 last time around. Earlier that was just a few tenths faster. So he's just holding this line. He's got this big traffic queue behind him, but masterfully holding him out.
Shell Hillock's race score hasn't changed. Perkins, Ingall, Jones, Bowe and Brock, your top 5. Johnson, Faulkner. Richards is now up into 8th position. Longhurst and Poole.
Privateers fighting their way into the back of this, the tail of this top 10. So they're having a good day at Phillip Island today, unlike some of our level 1 competitors.
Well, coming onto the main straight here, we see where Greg Murphy went off in that second race, and what a scary part of the track to go off with a flat tyre.
Last lap this time around, so Perkins in control. Ingall in second position, Jones in third, Bowe in fourth, and it's Brock, the 05 Commodore in fifth, Johnson, Faulkner, Richards, Longhurst and Poole, and no one behind Larry Perkins has been able to make a move on the Castrol cars.
We're on our way home. They head on down into the Southern Loop for the final time. It's been a very, very eventful day here at Phillip Island, but this third race hasn't been that way. It's been as is. The positions have not changed. They're bringing it home whether someone can pull off a passing manoeuvre. Perhaps AJ. Well, someone's gone off. There's a big cloud of dust down near Honda corner. They come down into Honda corner. Bowe's gone very wide.
Perkins heads up toward Lukey Heights for the final time. Got his teammate Russell Ingall in behind him. Knows that if he wins this race, Ingall only has to finish second or third to take overall points on the day, and that'll be a great position championship-wise for the Castrol team, considering Wayne Gardner's strength coming out of Calder. Thought he may have been able to build on that championship points advantage, but no luck here today, and a big boost up for the Castrol team.
Well, what an impressive run from Alan Jones. He's had a consistent day and just flows on from last weekend at Surfers Paradise, where he had a great run up there.
They're bringing it home right now. Checkered flag is in readiness. It is going to be a Castrol 1-2. Larry Perkins brings it home. Well done. He takes out race 3. Russell Ingall, lights on, hand out the window. He comes in for second position. Alan Jones in for fourth. And that means that Russell Ingall will be at the top of the points for the second round of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Looked like John Bowe remained in fourth position ahead of Peter Brock. But you've got to give it to the Castrol Commodore team of Larry Perkins, Russell Ingall. There's Peter Brock. He remains steady in fifth position. We get ready. We've got green light. Race 1, round 3 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship is underway. Seaton got away to a great start. He was the only man off the front row. Have a look at Alan Jones up the inside.
Oh, one of the Castrol Commodores there, locking everything up. It looked like Perkins.
We go on board now with Dick Johnson in the Shell Helix Falcon. He's looking for an inside run. Cars are scattering everywhere, but John Bowe has been the big winner.
Yeah, John Bowe and Scafie up into third place in front of Larry Perkins. Russell Ingall's made up some ground there already, the enforcer, or should I say.
Alan Jones has seemed to have drifted back a long way. He is may be in some problems. He seems
has.
to be travelling very slowly.
If you see the front air dam of Jonesy's car, it looks like he's hit somebody up the back or somebody's pushed him into some... Oh, what a tragedy.
That is a real shame, because out of the 11 races so far this year, including Indy and the AGP, Alan Jones has finished every one, but he's not going to finish this one.
That's so sad for Jonesy, you know, because Komatsu and Pertek have got really good sort of coverage on his car this year and had really good airtime, and I feel sorry for Jonesy. He's doing it hard.
Let's go back up the front. It is the number 30 Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton leads John Bowe. It's quite interesting to see these two up the front, because both of these guys won a race here last year at the Sandown round. Seaton is the man in the front at the moment.
It's on board with, what do they call him, the baby-faced assassin.
Yeah. Glenn Seaton hard at work, and the Ford Credit Falcon has a quick look in the mirror to see where JB is.
Yeah, I spoke to him this morning, and he said that he's really pleased with the setup of his car and was really looking forward to the race. And with the tragedy of poor old Murphy going out, I would say that Glenn Seaton would be feeling quite a happy chappy at the moment. Unfortunately, that's the luck of the game. You see there, Brock is making some ground there. It looks like he's going to shaping up for a go on Perkins.
Larry Perkins sitting in fourth behind this man on screen right now, the sponsorless Mark Scaife. Well, the drivers and teams say that Sandown isn't a tyre-sensitive place. And, well, the results so far speak for themselves. 3 different manufacturers in the top 3. You got Bridgestone, Dunlop and Yokohama. Here we go, we ride with Russell Ingall, the number 8, Castrol Commodore, up the Holden back straight.
Now this is you look at this fast left-hander at the end here. This one is just back one gear there, just to keep the thing on the power in case you get it sideways and need to correct it. But very, very fast corner.
Down to the pits, here's Mark Osler.
Been talking to the Castrol team about the setup on Russell Ingall's car. He really was struggling. They threw 1,000 different setups at it in practice and couldn't get the car to work. But just after the warm-up this morning, they tried a couple of other things, and Russell found it much more to his liking. His times are competitive, as you can see. He's pushed his way through from 11th on the grid up to 6th, so he's really on a move, and he could pick up a good position today.
Yeah, Stephen Richards now up into 11th place.
Let's not forget about our race leader, Glenn Seaton, is still doing a great job. He is consistently lapping in the 1:13 brackets, just a little over a second off qualifying time off the lap record as well. So he's going extremely well up the front, but we watch the better electrical. Fisher and Peichel, Commodore of John Faulkner. He's got a bit of battle damage on the front left there. You can see he's come into contact with someone. We go back on board with Faulkner now. Well, things are looking good for Glenn Seaton. There's the Shell Helix race score for you. Seaton, Bowe, Scaife, Perkins, Brock. Scaife pulling out a little bit of ground on Perkins up the back section.
Just what I was going to say. Okay, now you see how quick... Oh, but that's because of a back marker car. But I can't believe how slow Perkins' car is down the straight. You watch, they come onto the straight, and Perkins will be sort of 20, 30 feet, well, in fact, right up the backside of Mark Scaife. And then you watch as they come onto the straight, Scaife's car just pulls away from him, hand over fist.
Mark Scaife, the Gibson Motorsport team, they were very happy with the speed of their car, and that's proving to be the case. We've got 2 laps left to run now as he pulls out on Larry Perkins down the main straight. Positions remain as is. Seaton, Bowe, Scaife, Perkins, Brock, Ingall in 6th position. Longhurst, Gardner, Johnson, and Stephen Richards is now in the top 10. So he has displaced Stephen Ellery. So things looking better as we watch this battle between Scaife and Perkins.
If you look at virtually every one of the top 10 cars has got a bit of panel damage on it.
That first corner was just biff and barge. Distances have remained the same between, say, the top 5 or 6, Barry. So there's that gap opening up as Larry comes back hard on the brakes again.
I think Mark, when you look at it, is just controlling it, you know, because he knows there's no sense in going all out and tearing the tyres to pieces and being a hero to pull out a second when he knows that for Larry to get past him, it's not going to be an easy task.
Well, we've had 2 rounds so far in the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Glenn Seaton has won 2 races. He is about to make it 3. This is round 3 for 97. Well done to the Ford Credit Falcon driver of Glenn Seaton. He takes out race 1. He'll be delighted with that. Well done to him. It's a Ford 1-2. The Shell Helix Falcon of John Bowe comes in for 2nd. Well done to Mark Scaife as well. He gets in there for 3rd. Perkins in for 4th. And Peter Brock rounds out the top 5. We're getting ourselves set for race 2. You can see the green flag at the back there. We are just about set to go. John Bowe had a very consistent run in the opening race here today at Sandown. Watch the lights, your top left corner of your screen. Bow
the
and
first
Seaton.
corner?
Away we go.
Bow, what a start.
Got away to a blinder to John Bow, but up the outside, so too did Russell Ingall. Here comes Ingall on the outside of John Bow. Seaton will be the first to the corner, though, and on the inside was Mark Scaife.
Yeah, that's... I was just looking there, Ingall was squeezing Scaife, but whoa, that's a little... Oh, biff and bang.
Talk about biff, there was plenty there. Cars coming into contact, looked like Scaife copped a bit of a hammering as well. Trevor Ashby trying to go around the outside there, likewise Darren Hossack. But it's the two Fords up front, the same order as the opening race. We see Greg Murphy working his way through. He started rear of grid due to that lack of, or that problem in the opening race. We go on board with Russell Ingall. Chasing hard, that's John Bow in front, and further up it's Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit Falcon, our race leader and winner of race 1.
You have a listen to this at the end of the straight. Listen when they change down through the gears, when Russell changes back. You hear the noise of the transmission. Oh, would have done.
Here we are. You can tell Ingall because of the yellow strip across the windscreen. That's the way of differentiating between...
Whoa, lock her up.
Hang on to it, Glenn.
Yeah, in testing, the HRT cars were doing 259, 260, so it's, you know, when there's no sense in Bow. If Bow can get up with Seaton, there's no sense in him trying to tear away from him, because we saw earlier on that Seaton has definitely got the speed. He's lapping quicker than Bow at the moment.
Well, Seaton has just under a 2-second lead over John Bow. We watched the battle, though, between Gardner, Johnson and Longhurst. This is 7th, 8th and 9th. Longhurst tagged onto the back there. We watched them. Gardner, the two Yokohama cars either side of Johnson, they've been going reasonably well, consistently in the top 10.
Yeah, Scaife was saying, though, Lee, that the Yokohamas, when they get hotter, in the second race of the afternoon, it's they go off quite a lot.
We go on board with Dick Johnson. Dick, it's Lee Diffie here. How are you finding things? He is hard at work, 247 kilometres an hour down the main straight. We'll try again. Dick Johnson, Lee Diffie here. How are things out there? Longhurst right on the back now of Dick Johnson, and we just caught a quick glimpse there of Greg Murphy. Here comes Brocky! Up the inside of Larry Perkins. Will he have the run? They're about to come through this very fast left hand. Just down the brakes on there. Larry won't want to give in, but he's going to have to. Great move there by Peter Brock, slipping up the inside of Larry Perkins.
Yeah, it does look as if Larry Perkins' tyres are going off again, because Brocky got much better traction out of the corner onto the back straight, and this ties in with what happened to Perkins' tyres in the first one.
From 25th position to 10th is Greg Murphy. He is sizzling out there at the moment. He is just cruising through the field. He is going very, very well.
That's impressive. It's quite funny, he's caught up all those places, yet he still isn't lapping as quick as Seaton.
Seaton's lapping. Seaton and Bow, the only ones lapping in the 1:13 bracket. The rest are in the 1:14s and 1:15s. Now Murphy's put in a 1:13.75. Here he is on screen now. He set a new qualifying record. He was on fire yesterday here at Sandown with a 1:12.21. He bettered Craig Lowndes' qualifying record. He did very well some weeks ago. Here he goes, the move on Gardner now. He's having a look up the inside, coming into this tight section.
Oh, round and round we go.
Oh, no.
Oh, God, no. I mean, always in the right place at the wrong time, isn't he?
Greg Murphy has come in contact there with Wayne Gardner. There you can see Gardner turning the car around as Trevor Ashby comes around ahead of Mark Larkham and Steve Ellery. So Wayne Gardner and the Coke team will not be happy with that. Yep. We have lost Peter Brock off our time score, off our lap computer, so we'll have to work what's going on there. Keep you up to date. We've just got word now that he came into the pits and he's gone back out again, so maybe that was due to that contact with Larry Perkins. Mark Osler, can you give us anything on that?
Yeah, you did right, Lee. It was that contact that apparently damaged the left rear tyre, and Brocky came in and changed his left rear very quickly. That's obviously pushed him right down the order, though.
Glenn Seaton still leads the way from John Bow. Bow's reduced it to under 2 seconds now. It was out to 2.5 seconds, that split. Now, so it's under 2 seconds, so Bow's going quite well. Barry, I'm very intrigued to see the next lap from Greg Murphy after that. This could be the lap record. Murphy back out on the circuit. He's not a happy man. This is where the action is.
It's got to be at the end of the straight.
Larry pulls out of the draft now. He has a look on the outside of Mark Scaife. Here comes the Castrol Commodore of Larry Perkins. He's got the run. They go side by side.
Whoa, the dirt! Oh, look at that! Whoa!
Perkins hangs onto it. He does a bit of dirt grass tracking, but he's rejoined and he hasn't lost out too much.
That was good. So hang on to that. I mean, he just cool and calm, straight across, not a problem.
The Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton has driven extremely well. There he is. We go on board with him now. He has a look in the mirror. He says, yeah, JB, I know you're closing, but I'm pretty confident I've got your measure.
Well, yeah, not only that, he's all the time he can go as slow as he can to win the race. He's looking after his tyres for the third race.
Well, Bow's the only man in the top 10 then to run in the 113s, and to put that into simple language, that's the quickest. At least the top, well, the whole field, actually. Seaton's running in the high 114s, but he's going to make it 2 from 2. The Ford Credit Falcon, Glenn Seaton, comes across the line in the #1 position yet again. Congratulations to Glenn Seaton and his team. We're only a few moments away. There's the green flag. Keep your eyes on the two quiet achievers today, Longhurst and Johnson. They've been plugging away nicely. Set for a start. Mark Scaife is on your extreme left. We are away. John Bow gets away to a great start. So too did Alan Jones. He came blasting through the middle, and Scaife moves right across very quickly.
Yeah, it's watch for Bowie. Oh, Scaife, he looks like up the inside of Bow, was it? I don't know, couldn't see.
Gardner having a look up the inside. This is on board with Dick Johnson. This is a tight section of the circuit. He's tucked in behind the better electrical entry.
Oh, dear.
Was that Larkham? Mark Larkham it could have been.
Demolition Derby. Yes.
Indeed it was. Mark Larkham in the minor 10 Falcon, so at least he's able to continue. But Larry
Perkins. This is what I was saying about Larry. You know, you've got that problem. Everybody's trying to get in and out of there, and when you're in the middle of the pack and you get something go wrong or somebody touch, then Larry's copped the brunt of it.
Well, he will just be ropeable at the moment, not only being made to start rear of grid, but now have a look at the front of that car. We'll have a look at a replay of that right now. Have a look to the right-hand side of your screen. There, the action begins. Crunch, they're all going into each other. All trying to sort themselves out. Half of them ending up on the grass. Larkin continues on. It didn't quite pick up Perkins.
No, me neither. Me neither. I think he was right in the middle of it. I think he was in the front of it.
So there is Larry Perkins with a very wounded Castrol Commodore. Things continue on. We go back up the front. It's Seaton, Bow, Scaife, and Engel will be flying the Castrol sign by himself. Murphy and Faulkner.
Whoa,
Faulkner is right up
in the background there. What was that? Oh, that was a lock-up and a half.
Nobody going off, everybody's still on. This is a great race by John Faulkner at the moment. He's sitting in 6th position. Number 8, the Castrol Commodore of Russell Engel. This is only his 2nd season in the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship and 2nd season with the Perkins outfit as well. Coming into this meeting, he won 5 from 11 races. He hasn't had such a good day today as Murphy goes the outside. We're on board now. It's Russell Engel, and he goes the outside option. That's the long way around for Murphy. Engel maintains that position.
I think this has got to end in tears. What do you reckon, Lee?
It's looking very, very close at the moment. Greg Murphy will want to keep his head, though. He had that altercation with Wayne Gardner earlier this morning. He just wants to get points. He needs to get points. He needs to stay there. Murphy just plugging away. Behind these two is John Faulkner. He is going well. We go on board now with Faulkner as Murphy locks it up.
That's a great drive from Faulkner. Really is excellent.
Keep in mind, this is a non-factory car. John Faulkner is a privateer. He is renowned in super speedway.
He's not exactly inexperienced, though, is he?
No, not in terms of driving. Very handy on the big ovals in Oscar and NASCAR. This is only his 2nd season for the Shell Series. We go back to Russell Engel's car. Greg Murphy just slightly pulling out of the draft there. He wasn't as close as what he was, say, 2 laps ago, but he comes right up under brakes. Greg Murphy up on the Castrol Commodore of Russell Engel.
Now, what neither Engel nor Murphy can afford to do is knock each other out of this because, you know, it's getting pretty tight at the top points-wise now, so it will be silly on either's behalf. They have to realise, OK, they both want to beat one another, but the aim of the game to win a championship is to finish races.
You need those points. Under the Dunlop Bridge, we go back on board. Have a look at Longhurst down the back side of the car there. Tony Longhurst is all over Dick
Whoa,
Johnson.
gotcha!
Got
Oh,
him.
dear me.
Side by side, the two Falcon drivers.
A little bit of touch and go.
Dick gets a little bit out of shape.
He's
That's
back
given
up
Longhurst the good run on the inside. Now have a look there. Johnson having a look across. That's a bit of a laugh.
Two Queenslanders.
Down the main straight they come. This should give Longhurst the run into the corner. Dick's hard on the brakes. You can see that right front locking up a little, but Longhurst got the good run through, so he moves up one position better, up now into 7th.
This is a Yokohama battle against the Dunlop battle. It'd be really interesting to see the latter stages of the road, well, the last sort of couple of laps, the difference in the tyres. On paper, the Yokohama shouldn't be as good.
Well, just behind this battle, we should make mention that Alan Jones and Wayne Gardner have worked their way into the top 10. That's a great effort by them. Murphy chasing Scaife. Here we go, coming out of Simcoe corner onto the main straight. It's Yokohama, shot Commodore of Scaife, a Bridgestone shot Commodore of Murphy. Murphy's looking for the inside line now, and Scaife looks like he's moved over and has let him through. Indeed he has. So Murphy's got the run. No, Scaife doesn't want to give up. It looked like Mark was going to let him through, but that is certainly not the case.
No, I don't. Listen, when you start fighting with Scaife, you're fighting with the wrong bloke. You know, he's a very, very hard man. Fair guy, but really definitely doesn't give way.
Hasn't it been a terrific comeback to V8 racing, for V8 Supercar racing for Mark Scaife? There's the Shell Helix race course. Seaton, Bow, Scaife and Murphy. That's the battle on screen now. Then we go back to Ingle, still sitting in 5th. Here comes Murph up the outside now. He's putting the pressure on Mark Scaife, but Scaife's got the run through. This little change of direction. The Gibson Motorsport Commodore has been operating beautifully today. A 3rd and a 4th so far, and he's still sitting in the top 3 at the moment.
Yeah, I reckon that Murph's going to have a bit of a struggle here. We'll have to have a look top line, top straight speed, top end speed at the end of the straight, and just see who's got the most grunt. I looked before, it looked pretty even.
Down the main straight now, they're about to move on to lap 13. They have got 4 laps left to run. That's all the time that Greg Murphy has as he makes the inside move again on Mark Scaife. Will it be successful this time? It is.
Yeah, it was a slipstream job, and there was nothing that Scaife could do about it, really.
So, both those guys running in the 1:15 second bracket, Seaton and Bow running in the 1:14, so these two were running a little slower, obviously because of the battle they were having. They were slowing each other up just a touch.
Consistency in this championship is the thing that's going to win it.
Well, while these guys are running close to 1 minute 15 second laps, Greg Murphy has just put in a 1:13.71. The Murph is on fire, but it's all too late because they're on their way home. This, the 30 Ford Credit Falcon of Glen Seaton. He qualified 2nd fastest, and he comes onto the main straight. He has won the first 2 races, and he has won this one. It is a clean sweep for Glen Seaton. 3 starts, 3 wins for the Ford Credit Falcon of Glen Seaton.
Ah, look at that. Great.
He has a look at our camera and says, "You beauty." He gets in for a clean sweep. Good on you, Glenn. What a fantastic day's racing. He will be absolutely delighted with that, and his team. They're a hard-working bunch of guys. We're getting ourselves ready for the start of race 1, and it's only going to be a few seconds away. This is going to be very interesting under some very difficult conditions. They're getting themselves ready. It's an HRT front row, and we are away. Green lights. You can see him sliding sideways off the grid. Getting away to a good start was Perkins, but it's Peter Brock who gets off the line very nicely indeed. Murphy slips in. Seaton goes onto the grass a little bit as they negotiate that first turn.
Well, they're all very well behaved coming through that first turn. They would have been very cautious about getting tangled up with each other on that first slippery left-hander, but they've managed to come through fairly cleanly. Peter Brock got a good start. We thought he may have been a bit slower off the line than Murphy with those big puddles sitting down on that side of the track, but he got away beautifully, and now he's in front of his teammate as the Castrol Commodore. I think it was Larry Perkins gets right out of shape.
Wayne Gardner made the most of that. He was a big winner there. He's come from 5th up into 3rd already, and he begins his chase after the 2 mobile HRT Commodores. It's Brock and Murphy, and the only man out there with a clear view at the moment is Peter Brock.
Yeah, great start from Brock. I suppose the little bit of a problem there at the first corner was that Larry Perkins and Glen Seaton got caught up, and Glen went from basically 3rd through to 5th.
Well, look who's pushed his way through 3rd now, Wayne Gardner. Didn't get the sort of qualifying performance he wanted back in 5th. He's jumped up 2 positions with that little slide on the first lap. So the Coca-Cola Commodore moves up to third position. So it's Brock, Murphy, Gardner, Perkins, Seaton, Faulkner, Bow, Longhurst, Ingle and Larkham. Well, the result from all this quick lappery by Holden Racing Team. Look at the gap they've opened up over third place Wayne Gardner, 6.9 seconds. The only two cars operating in the 59-second bracket. They're swapping fastest laps as they go around. Murphy currently the fastest time, a 59.44. There's the Shell Helix race score. Brock and Murphy running away with it. Almost 7 seconds back to Gardner in third. Perkins in fourth. Glenn Seaton back in fifth. Faulkner, great run that. 15 seconds behind our race leader. Then it's Bow, Longhurst, Johnson and Ingle.
Ingle's moved up one position into the top 10. That's good to see. He's working hard. Jason Bright, in his V8 debut, is sitting back in 12th position at present. So he's doing it tough back there. Concentration extreme. Talking about the conditions, and here we go. Seaton makes an outside move on Larry. We go on board now with Seaton. We look aside. Whoa, almost a little bit of contact.
Rudy LP was a bit out of order there. He probably should have given Glenn some room to race on the exit of there. So, I mean, that's the sort of pass he's got to do. He's got to do the crisscross because he's got to be on the inside for this next corner now, where Glenn ended up being on the outside.
Just look at the amount of spray that Seaton's driving. He's driving into a wall of water there. You see that big rooster tail of spray coming off the rear aerofoil on the Commodore. Going straight into his screen. He's just driving through a wave of water and continuing to attack the back of Perkins' car. Incredible stuff.
Well, we go and have a look now at our race leader, Peter Brock. Flashing the lights there to Steve Reed, making his comeback in the car after Trevor Ashby drove the Lansvale entry for a couple of rounds. He is on his way home. So is this guy, Brock's teammate in Greg Murphy. A good drive by both the HRT boys. They're going to make it the same positions as they started in as they come on home. Peter Brock takes out race one of round 4 this year's Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Congratulations to him. Are ready for race 2. It has just started raining again here at Symmons Plains as we watch the lights. The two HRT cars alongside each other. We are away. Seaton got away to a pretty good start alongside Gardner. This is going to be a very interesting first turn. Gardner side by side with Murphy. He's got the outside run. We go on board now with, by the looks of things, Glenn Seaton. This is out of the front of the Ford Credit Falcon as they come under the Whitmix Bridge. Gardner's got himself up into second.
Absolutely fantastic start from the 1987 World 500cc champion as he sneaks in behind the Holden Racing Team leading car, car 15. Greg Murphy runs a little bit wide as he comes into the corner, manages to gather it up. Seaton now attacking Brock. Brock didn't get away very well, but Gardner up to second position. He was looking at a slightly different tyre option for the second race, and it may pay off. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
So it was the Kiwi young gun who got away to the better of the starts for the HRT cars. Brock back in third. Watch the whole field come through this unbelievable thick mist. The spray is just so hard for the drivers. It's making it very difficult for them. So it's Murphy, Gardner, Brock, Seaton and John Faulkner up into fifth.
Murphy and Brock got very equal starts, but Brock's actually car almost stalled. It had a really low down bog, like the revs come right down. As he drove up to the first corner and really struggled, he got monstered by Seaton and Gardner.
Well, the problem Wayne Gardner complained about in the first heat, the Yokohama wets were very, very quick in those opening 4 or 5 laps, and they tended to lose a bit of speed. He was looking at maybe grooving up a set of very soft slicks for the second race, so if the rain holds off, he could be well positioned. This is from the back of Russell Ingle's car, looking back through the mist at the Castrol Falcon of Tony Longhurst. Windscreens O'Brien race cam takes you aboard. Tony Longhurst, Dick Johnson, Stephen Ellery, Jason Bright, Mark Larkham, Alan Jones, they're all in this.
You can see there by the visibility, the conditions are absolutely horrific. There's 230 or 240 km/h section of the circuit, and you can't see, you can hardly see the car in front until the brake lights come on. It's unbelievable.
Well, how about the guts of Jason Bright? He's not afraid of anything. His debut V8 Supercar drive, and he's mixing it up there with the greats. So here we go back to the Castrol Commodores, heading round down into Coke Corner, lap 17 of 22.
Meanwhile, up at the front, Wayne Gardner's just been taken by Peter Brock. Seaton's attacking him too. Gardner may be in trouble as we watch this battle between the two Castrol teammates, Larry Perkins and Russell Ingle.
You see Larry, he's got fantastic car control. Oh, I've just given him a rap and he's locked the front brake and gone off. Oh, we're going to run together. This is ugly stuff. This is like ending with the Shell cars.
So a bit of biff and barge there. You can see the battle damage left on the side of Russell Ingle's car. Here's Glenn Seaton. Gardner's lost it. Well, Gardner has been swamped, quite literally. Peter Brock overtook him before. Seaton was attacking him that last time around. Now he's looped it down at the hairpin. Maybe having some problems with grip. Wayne Gardner, that's lost him a couple of positions.
Well, this now plays right into the hands of John Faulkner. Faulkner is up into 4th position now. Let's have a look at the Shell Helix replay. Seaton has given him a tap. Well, Glenn Seaton has in fact turned Wayne Gardner around. I don't think Glenn could help that. It was hard under brakes.
Well, Glenn certainly couldn't pull the car up. We've got a replay of Glenn here in the Ford Credit car, and obviously in car with him at the moment. He was under brakes there behind Wayne Gardner, battled to stop, had the wheels locked, couldn't help but give him a bump, and obviously that's the result.
So looking at the order, it's still Murphy. Peter Brock now moves up to 2nd position, Seaton up to 3rd, and there is Jason Bright. We've just watched him come charging through the field. He's used that as a bulldozer, and we believe the Castrol Commodores, both of them are off in the sand as well. Oh, look at this.
Larry isn't very happy, or whether he's just having a discussion with Wayne Gardner. There's quite a bit of damage to Gardner's car on the driver's side. Both of those cars have come to a standstill. Here is the Shell Helix replay. It looks like it's in the Shell hairpin and coming into contact. So lap after lap there, 2 laps in a row. Gardner has been caught into some serious trouble, and there's a lot of damage to that Coke Commodore.
Look at the biff he's given him there. Looks like Gardner was coming back through the field. We've got a red flag situation. They are stopping the race. Red flag is out, so the race has been stopped. Let's look at this on the Shell Helix replay. This is Jason Bright. Big charge. He's locked him up. He's got no steering, and he's just going way out into the desert. And just look at the amount of dirt that front spoiler takes in.
Well, that's disheartening for Jason Bright. What a tremendous run he was having. He was right up there in the top 10, sitting in 9th position and charging strong, but we've lost cars left, right and centre here at Symmons Plains, and in fact, the red flag is out. The final results for race 2 based off the last full lap. Greg Murphy in for the win ahead of his teammate Peter Brock. Seaton, Faulkner and Wayne Gardner in for 5th. We get ready. We're only a few seconds away. The start of race 3. Wonder if it's going to be like the first 2. Let's watch the lights. Green, and away we go. The 2 HRT cars lead them away. Look further back in the pack. John Bowe got away to a pretty good start, but it is Greg Murphy who got away to a good start. They lead him into the first corner. Seaton got a little bit out of shape. Gardner muscles his way through as we go on board with Faulkner. John Faulkner has gone off the circuit and into the tyre wall.
Well, you were riding with John Faulkner there. Graphic indication. He was 4th on the grid, looking forward for his best result, and he's gone right off into the tyre wall. Really moved some earth there, Mark Scope.
Yeah, look, I think he was around the outside of Wayne Gardner, and there wasn't much road there left. I didn't think he'd be going that fast and make it that far off the road, but clearly the cars are still going quite quickly.
Stephen Ellery and Jason Bright got a little bit out of shape there. Let's have a look at that earlier incident on replay, though. Here we go. We go around, and Faulkner contact with the wall. So it wasn't such a big contact, but the point is he's off and out of this one. We go on board. There goes Gardner muscling his way through. He was fair income right from the outset and wanted to get up there. Faulkner goes off to the right-hand side, and that's where he will stay.
Boy, that Coca-Cola Commodore's wearing some battle damage today. Gardner managing to get the car back into the race. A great effort by the Coca-Cola team. No side glass in the car. Plenty of rain running into the car. And now he's back into the race, just having that coming together with John Faulkner on the first lap. So Gardner really in the wars at Symmons Plains today. Yeah, well, I was just looking out. I was trying to find why Murphy had slowed down. They've got the safety car out on the track. The conditions have deteriorated so badly that they've brought out a safety car. I think it's the first time ever in the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship round we've seen this situation, but it's very similar to Bathurst, Mark Scope. When the track gets that bad, you cannot race.
Well, as we were saying, Mark, what happens is that certainly your visibility in terms of spray is very bad, but your visibility of the road for your own car and basically your own safety becomes so bad that you don't know where the puddles are, and the car's aquaplanes so badly that you could actually spin the car in 5th or 6th gear, which is just craziness. And I mean, it's really a good decision with Schenken to put the safety car out and probably run around for a few laps to try to see if the conditions ease.
Maybe some people at home wondering how they employ the safety car. That car will stay out there until Tim Schenken, the clerk at the course, declares the circuit suitable to resume racing. Now that could be out there for quite a number of laps, and looking at these conditions, it could even, I guess, theoretically lead them all the way home. So coming down for a restart this time around, Greg Murphy in the plum position. Peter Brock, his teammate, defending behind Glenn Seaton. The first of the Fords, Wayne Gardner behind him.
Getting ready for a start. The pace car, rather the safety car is pulled off. We are getting ready for a green flag. We have got it. Green light situation, the restart in this race 3. Murphy will lead them through. They're nicely bunched up.
Now keep in mind, under these Shell pace car regulations or safety car regulations, those laps do not count as race laps. So we'll resume on the lap when the safety car came out. So there's still quite a few laps left.
Let's see if the number 30 Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton can go with the two HRT cars. We've seen just how well Greg Murphy and Peter Brock have been travelling today. Now Seaton is right up there. This is the closest that he has been. Gardner maintains his fourth from John Bowe in fifth.
We were at half race distance when the safety car came out, 12 laps to go.
You can see there that on the first lap of the restart, you've got to be very, very careful because the cars haven't been online and the guys aren't used to, at this stage, the grip level that the circuit and the cars have. So at this stage, you've really, for the first lap of a restart, got to be very careful not to make a mistake. Here's Glenn really putting some pressure on Brock. The car's very soft at the back, Glenn Seaton's car, and you can see at the exit of these sorts of corners, he does make some ground on the HRT cars, particularly Brock at that area of the track.
Well, just thinking of the HRT cars, Greg Murphy, he is heading towards his first Shell Australian Touring Car round win. Of course, Gardner won the opening round, Ingle won the second round at Phillip Island, and Glenn Seaton had a clean sweep last weekend at Sandown. So it'll be a great start for Greg Murphy. Like I said, he's had an up and down year so far, but this would be a good way, putting the right foot forward in the right direction. Down onto the back section. Greg Murphy has about half a lap left to run.
It's been a very impressive performance. As we said earlier, the cars are really well set up. They're driving the cars very well, the tyres working well, and clearly it's a real form improvement for them based on a couple of the recent rounds where they've been very fast but struggled for reliability.
Well, they're on their way home. They come out of Coke Corner. They've got ACL Corner to negotiate, and the checkered flag will be waiting there for them. It's going to be a mobile HRT 1-2. Congratulations, Greg Murphy and Peter Brock. There they are. You can see Murph with his hand up and his fist clenched. He is so happy. That is his first Shell Australian Touring Car round win, and thoroughly deserved. Glenn Seaton came in for third.
We're just about to take the green light. Stephen Richards, fantastic performance in qualifying. He's up there on the second row. We get the green and away they go in Heat 1, round 5 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. And Stephen Richards already gets muscled into that first corner. You can see the front spoiler get fractured as we go on board in the middle of the heat of this battle on the first lap. There's Seaton up ahead and the damage just in the side there on Stephen Richards' Commodore.
Well, that is just heart-wrenching stuff. That is such bad luck for Stephen Richards. It looked like there was a bit of contact there with Russell Ingall's car. We were getting some very good pictures out of the front of Greg Murphy's as they work their way through on the opening lap. There's Darren Hossack right at the back of the pack.
Very physical stuff on this opening lap. Charlie O'Brien pointed to it. Very tight, twisty turns of Winton Raceway. Probably going to be a lot of biff and barge, and we saw that within 20 or 30 metres of the start. So Stephen Richards gets pushed back the order. It's the Castrol Steamroller at the front as they lead them down toward the new part of the circuit. Here they go.
Yeah, things are looking good for Larry Perkins and Russell Ingall. I was talking with Larry earlier on. I said, well, both of you were dynamite yesterday in the wet. How's it going to be in the dry today now the sun's shining? He said, we're quite happy in testing. Things were going well. He said, still back us.
Greg Murphy, second of the Holden Racing Team Mobile Commodores, closing in on the back of John Bowe. Car 18, we go on board with Greg Murphy. Absolute dominant winner at Symonds Plains 2 weeks ago in treacherous wet conditions. Now finds himself a little bit further back in the order. Windscreens O'Brien. Onboard camera takes you on board car 1-5 as he chases John Bowe. You can hear the brakes squealing there. Very high brake temperatures, somewhere in the region of 700, 800 degrees centigrade in these pads. They really work them hard as they come through this twisty part of the circuit.
Top 10 look like this at the moment. Perkins, Ingall, Brock, Seaton, Bowe, Murphy. Gardner has done well to come up into 7th as we have a look at the replay of Kevin Heffernan coming off. Whoa. He has been able to get out of that one without hitting anything, which is lucky.
Second time he's come off, so he must be having some problems with grip.
Continuing with that top 10, Longhurst is up into 8th, Scaife 9th, and Faulkner 10th. The Castrol Commodores of Larry Perkins and Russell Ing are doing a fantastic job. Here we go with our series points leader. He has a problem by the looks of things. There's a lot of smoke. What can you make of that, Charlie?
Well, it's very hard to see from this angle. It's obviously either a tyre or it's actually smoke coming from underneath the car, so maybe another angle will get a clear shot of that.
Well, let's hope that he can stay out there on the circuit and at least finish on. We're on our way home, so that would just be devastating for our series points leader if he couldn't continue. We'll keep a close eye on it, though.
notice on the times there, he has dropped about 3 or 4 seconds on that lap, so it is probably a tyre maybe.
Well, he's got plenty of ground between himself and back to 5th place John Bowe, some 12 seconds, so he's got a lot of time up his sleeve, so there's no hassle, no urgency there as we watch Larry Perkins and Russell Ingall bring this one home out of Repco corner. This is still on the old part of the circuit. Do you remember? They would have kept going straight ahead here and into the Motorsport S's, and now they go hard left along this quite long Falcon Straight up into 2 quite tight corners.
A couple of good passing corners, but again, as we saw from John Bowe before, you can protect very, very well. So it's a matter of just sitting in there and having a little patience and waiting for that right time. But Russell Ingall is not really challenging Larry here. It's going to be an absolute perfect 1-2 finish, and with the boss at the right end of the field.
Well, neither of these two have won a round here at Winton either, but they've started the day the right way. Well done, Larry Perkins and Russell Ingall. They come in for a Castrol Commodore 1-2 in race number 1 today. Well done. Getting ourselves ready for a start. Things looking good. Can it be another Castrol 1-2? We'll have to wait and see. Watch Seaton in the middle. We are away. Perkins got away to a good start, but so too did Russell Ingall. Ingall's got the outside run, and the Enforcer will take them through the first corner.
Great move from Ingall there. Just came look outside the boss. Mark Scaife in trouble. We take camera aboard. Gibson Motorsport Commodore. He's gone right off the line. And he joins right at the back of the field. So, after that great start by Scaife, muscling up from 15th position in the first heat, now he's got a lot of work to do.
Mark, I just got a quick glimpse too that there's some problem with Greg Murphy. He is right at the back of the pack. I just saw him back there with Kevin Heffernan in it as well. So problems for Murph.
Riding aboard Dick Johnson's Shell 17 Falcon, muscling the back of the better electrical Commodore. Shell Helix camera takes you aboard as Johnson looks for a run down the outside of Faulkner on this first desperate lap.
Oh, Faulkner, he's gone! You
Well,
were riding with Dick Johnson when that happened, and Faulkner has just gone off the track on the Dunlop Straight sideways at a very high speed.
Well, also to miss an accident, Greg Murphy has spun out also. That's 2 times in the first lap.
Look at the amount of mud on the infield from that rain yesterday. Still very boggy offline. That contact between Dick Johnson and John Faulkner. Murphy's come off as well. Faulkner now trying to get back onto the track. Let's look at this on the Shell Helix replay. Faulkner moving across, and bang! Johnson just held his line, and Faulkner's gone for a huge lose right across the infield.
Well, he was lucky. Oh, how lucky were those marshals, the officials, as he may have just made the slightest bit of contact. I don't think he did, though. His boot came up. Longhurst went off as well, and so too did Murphy. We can't get a shot of that. We don't have the shot on screen, but Murphy went off there as well. Unbelievable.
So it's Commodore 1, 2, 3, 4 at the front of the pack. First of the Fords is Glenn Seaton and the Ford Credit Falcon with John Bowe. Good start in the Shell 18 Falcon, muscling the back of the Ford Credit Falcon. So all kinds of drama on the opening lap of Heat 2. So back onto the new pit straight. John Bowe still holds that lead over Wayne Gardner. This is the battle for 5th and 6th. Ahead of them, Ingall leading the race, 1.2 seconds ahead of Perkins. Brock in 3rd and Seaton in 4th.
Through the Motorsport News, S is up onto the Shell Straight once again. Gardner's dropped back a little bit. Probably a couple of car lengths, but he's still staying in touch. You can see the second Shell Helix Falcon there of Dick Johnson sitting in 7th position. Larkham maintains 8th, and Finnegan and Poole are still inside the top 10, 9th and 10th.
So Peter Brock hanging on in 3rd position. Sitting behind him. And further down the order, Mark Larkham in position 8. And he'll be looking for a consistent performance, because he's had one of those wretched years, as he has since he entered V8 Supercar a couple of years ago. It's really been a very tough initiation for this man. Check him out on the windscreens. O'Brien driver profile, Australian Formula 4 champion back in '89, and also the winner of the Amaru Park Series that year, 2nd in the Gold Star, and 1st in the Indonesian Grand Prix back in 1993 in the Formula Holden. And there is his season, 16th. Big crash at Phillip Island, as we remember, on that first start. 15th at Sandown, 12th at Simmons Plain. So it's been a real struggle for Larkham in the Mitre 10 Ford. If you talk to Ross and Jimmy Stone, the engineers of this car, they have full faith in Larkham, and they just needs the right opportunity and they believe he can do the times and get the results. Let's hope so, because he really has shown an enormous amount of determination to hang on in very adverse conditions.
This is the battle, third and fourth. Brock is going for his second third in a row today. Seaton is trying to do his very best. I said to him yesterday, Charlie, Glenn, what's your outlook today? Are you just going to be fairly conservative and try and be consistent and get some points in the bag to help your champion? He said, no, he said, I want to win. He said, I want to win bad. He said, I've got a good track record here at Winton and I want to keep that going.
Well, certainly last night after qualifying, he probably his chances wouldn't have been quite as enthusiastic about winning, because he knows that this is a very tight track to pass on. And as I said before, Russell, Ingle and Larry Perkins, it's very hard to pass.
Checkered flag is out and the win goes to Russell Ingle. Good work to Russell. There he is. He hasn't had to do too much enforcing today. It's been 2 comfortable races for the Castrol Commodore team. Another one too. Reverse order this time around though. Russell Ingle in for the win ahead of his team boss and team partner, Larry Perkins. Peter Brock did hang on for that third spot. We are literally moments away from the third race. Who will win this one? Will it be Ingle? Will it be Perkins? We'll have to wait and see. Ingle got away to a blinder. He's got the inside run into the first corner, and it is Russell Ingle who will take the minutes. Pretty tight for that first one. Who was that? Brock diving up the inside, but Glenn Seaton managed to work his way around the outside. And look at Gardner. Gardner and Bow fighting it out there as we're on board with Dick Johnson.
Wayne Gardner in a Shell Racing Sandwich. You're riding atop the windscreen of Dick Johnson's Shell 17 Ford. You can see Wayne Gardner running the white line. That first part of the circuit managed to squeeze back into the sandwich, so Gardner survives on this hectic opening lap.
Good work there by Wayne Gardner, who was coming up the outside of John Bow, just able to tug it back in. So it's Castrol, 1-2 again. Here's Bow putting the pressure on Peter Brock. He'll have to watch out because there's Gardner again, and a bit of contact between Gardner and Bow. The front right-hand side, and now Johnson's right up on Gardner also.
Well, Dick Johnson got a beautiful view of that little clip. Little bit of damage, doesn't look too serious. Shell Helix on-board camera with Dick Johnson right in the heart of this battle as he tucks right up under the wing of the Wayne Gardner Racing Commodore. We get a nice clear lens to continue the battle as well.
So, Russell Ingle looking good at the moment, but we've got a long way to go. He got away to a beautiful start. Seaton's well positioned in terms of the points, but this is the best we've seen John Bow going so far. He's got away to a terrific start, and he is hassling the back of Peter Brock.
Yes, it certainly was a great start from Russell. He's not going to, I'm sure he's not going to get headed in this race. He's out in front of his team boss, and I'm sure that Larry would have said that whoever gets to the first corner first has basically got the race.
Let's ride with 5 times Australian Touring Car Champ Dick Johnson. Just working around, lurking around behind Wayne Gardner. This is the battle at the moment for 6th and 7th. It's probably one of the better rounds for the Shell Helix team.
Perkins and Ingle locked in points as they came into this third heat on 56, Brock on 48, Seaton 44. So Seaton well within striking distance, but the interesting thing is Seaton now 338 points, Ingle 312 after that second heat. So Ingle really is closing the gap to our championship leader.
We go back up front though. Here is Russell Ingle, who leads the way and quite comfortably at the moment. There's no doubt about that. Things looking good for the enforcer.
Well, they did talk about in football, or most ball sports, a home ground advantage. Certainly seeing it here. This is the nominated test track for Perkins Engineering. Do all their testing out here in both dry and wet conditions. They knew they dialed in a fantastic setup for the two Commodores, and very confident coming into this round. Now we can see why. They're really putting their reputations on the line and showing great form in round 5.
Well, in terms of the Shell Helix race team, Charlie O'Brien, that's pleasing to see Dick Johnson up there, because they're now running 4th and 5th, Bow and Johnson respectively, and that's certainly the most promising results that we've seen from that team as a whole this season.
Yes, Lee, Dick is certainly driving well. He seems to have some better days than others, and this is one of his good days. He's certainly driving well within himself.
We go on board with Dick Johnson, checking his laser speed down the bottom left of your screen, 210 kilometres an hour.
Well, that's the fastest.
Whoa, he's lost it. Dick Johnson has spun. We were on board and just looking at his speed coming into the Motorsport S's, and he's lost it.
Maybe he came in too hot. 210 kilometres an hour is a good speed, but he Made a bit of a mistake there, Charlie O'Brien.
Yes, it was. I was about to say it's about 6 kilometres an hour faster than we've seen before, and maybe that was because he went a little late under brakes.
So Dick picks up plenty of dirt for his trouble. Let's look at this in the Shell Helix replay. Beautiful view from our high shot there above the circuit, and just lost it himself. Went in a little bit too hot, locked the rear brakes, and spun it around.
And here he is, Russell Ingall, on the last lap on his way home out of Strathfield Car Radio's corner. He's got a handy little buffer over his team boss and about the same margin back to Glenn Seaton. It's been a good, steady day's driving, Charlie O'Brien, for Russell Ingall.
Oh, Russell's going great. Like, the thing that amazes me is that Larry's team is probably not that flush with enormous amounts of dollars like some of the other teams, and they are, with the amount of 1-2 finishes that they have had this year, they've done an amazing job.
Perkins Engineering, based at Moorabbin Airport in Melbourne. They have something like 15 or 16 full-time employees, not only doing their own cars but working on the others. But we focus on the guy that's bringing it home to the checkered flag, Russell Ingall. Well done. He takes out race 3. You can see him there. The fist is clenched. He is delighted with himself, and so he should be. His team boss will come in for second. Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit Falcon in for third. And John Bowe will come across the line ahead of Gardner in for fourth and fifth, respectively. When I said it's happened again, I'm referring to Greg Murphy. He has pulled off just before the warm-up lap. We're getting ready for a start, and it is just devastating for the young HRT driver. We're getting set for a start. Race 1, round 6 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Seaton is on the front row all by himself. He doesn't get away to the best start. Have a look at Mark Skaife.
Whoa, what a start for Skaife.
Right up the outside was Mark Skaife, and he leads the pack into the field. Can you believe it?
How good was that? A sensational deal.
In the Gibson Motorsport Commodore, he leads the field. Joining us in commentary, he's back from North America, is Neil Crompton. Neil, how about that start?
Well, yeah, I think Skaife actually might have started before the rest of them, but whatever, it worked. He's in the lead at the moment with Glenn Seaton right behind. We're getting tremendous onboard pictures looking at Cedo hard at work. And there's Mark Skaife in the lead in the Australian 1000 backed classic car.
We then go back to third spot. It's AJ. Alan Jones. There's a little bit of contact there between Perkins and one of the Shell Helix cars, but Skaife has done the bolt. Seaton now comes up, and also Jones.
And he will be black flagged. They're indicating on the start-finish rostrum that Skaife will receive the black flag on this lap, so he's going to have to report to pit lane and then join the field at the tail.
Well, we won't bother getting too more excited about that one then, because he's going to be stepping out and the lead will go to Seaton.
I think he must have seen Tim Schenken flinch, and he's dropped the clutch and taken off.
So we're getting good onboard shots here from the Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton, watching Mark Skaife, but he will not be in that lead position for too much longer.
For somebody to make such a brilliant start like that, so much better from that position on the grid, you'd have to... there's anticipation and there's anticipation.
Well, he got to start like a jet drag car, didn't he? Just went straight past them. These are the pictures from the front of Glenn Seaton's Ford Credit Falcon. As we come onto the main straight, we go on board with Skaife. He is coming into the pits for a stop-go penalty.
And he knew it already. He didn't even bother. He's been radioed. They've told him not to bother about wasting any time. So we're on board with Mark now. So Glenn Seaton takes over the lead effectively as Mark goes down to the stop-go penalty area at the end of the pit lane.
Well, he's going to be very disappointed with that. He could have got a lot of points if he remained in that position and had a good race, but he's going to get a lot less now. The stop-go, there he is. It's only momentarily stopped, and then he's back away. The Australian 1000 classic car back out on the track. We get back to the front of the pack.
Jonesy.
Jones is running in second. His return drive, that's really good for him. Seaton, Jones, Johnson, Brock and Gardner, they're your top 5 at the moment.
No, right at the moment, everybody's still fumbling with everybody else, so it takes a little while for a couple of things to happen. You need to get your rhythm, and you also need to get the temperatures and pressures up, and at the moment, the cars won't be in pristine shape. There'll be another couple of laps.
Well, Glenn Seaton got away to a brilliant
Oh! I thought he wouldn't be long because like Gardner was struggling a bit, and Ingall was definitely getting impatient.
Well, at Simmons Plains a couple of rounds ago, they were hardly best mates, and that's not going to help the relationship either.
No, that's my car.
I don't know about the enforcer, more like the extinguisher.
Well, so Russell Ingall giving Gardner the big heave-ho. Here's the Shell Helix replay. Out of my way, WG, I'm ready to come through. Gardner goes around, and luckily coming in contact with a tyre wall. That could have been a lot uglier if it hit those concrete barriers.
This is a tremendous motor race. Dick is climbing all over the back of Alan Jones. Two very, very experienced and talented drivers, absolutely using every last millimetre of road. We're halfway through this race, and there's a heartbeat between them.
Yeah, you can see the back end of AJ's car really hanging out.
While these guys are working it hard for the minor placing, Seaton is working equally as hard. He has set a new lap record. He has done extremely well. He has broken Wayne Gardner's lap record from 1994.
Lots of front right brake, just a little hard to position the car when that happens. And this is a second gear right-hander, very, very gentle on the throttle coming out. If you fry the rear tyres, you're out of business here. Now, here it's difficult because the car weight is all lurching to the left and you're trying to brake, so it wants to lock a brake once again. Then you jump to the left again. Look at the way Dick's car turns in. He's got a little bit of extra speed on that part of the track, and that's important because it sets him up for a good run down the straight.
Yeah, now look at this. This should be interesting. When the second DJ pulls out of the slipstream, AJ's going to... Oh, no!
Johnson's having a look up the inside. We go on board with Dick Johnson. Alan Jones still hangs in there in that second position. This is great work from Dick Johnson and also Alan Jones to hang on to that second spot. Into turn 2, look at Brock and Bow having a look up the inside of Johnson, but they're not going to do it this time round.
And Larry's really tagging onto the back of this very effectively as well. This is a tremendous battle. There's Glenn hard at work, chewing on the hose. That's his customary position. Great skill. Very fast through this left-hander. Watched him down there in the warm-up this morning, and he's really on fire. His car's well balanced. Oh, look at this. John Bow down the inside of Alan Jones. So you were right, Barry. Got a good run at the top of the circuit, and that translated to track position at the bottom.
Yeah, I think it's... Oh, look at...
Ingle up the inside.
Yes,
He's got him.
Gotcha.
Russell Ingle, and here comes Perkins. He tries the outside option on Peter Brock. Unsuccessful that time through, but the Enforcer is starting to creep and crawl his way up. Jones is his next victim on his list.
Where did you blokes invent that?
It wasn't us.
Oh, it wasn't us. Get the blame for most things, but that wasn't us.
The Enforcer.
So this is the battle. It's on, and he's got him.
Yes.
Russell Ingle's not stopping for anybody. Have a look at him go. Now Brock's on the inside of Jones as well. So Alan Jones is under siege at the moment out there.
Yeah, it's not a comfortable race for Alan. He maybe just quite hasn't got the chassis balance, or he may have some other form of problem, but they're nibbling at him and they're getting to him, which is a shame because it was a tremendous start early on, and he's been very competitive this year. He's worked hard to bring new sponsors onto his car and stay in business and be out there and be competitive, and it's been a pretty fair act. Great shot there of Eastern Creek in the background. You can see how fast, open and flowing the circuit is as Cito now prepares to face the checkered flag.
He comes down the main straight. He had a clean sweep at Sandown. Could it be that way today? Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit Falcon takes out race 1 here at Eastern Creek, and he'll be delighted with that. It's a Shell Helix 2-3. They'll be delighted. Dick Johnson, his best result of the 96 season, ahead of John Bow, his teammate.
Row 13, poor old Greg Murphy, who had a drive chain problem.
Probably an appropriate row number as well. We get ourselves ready for race number 2. Could it possibly be better than the first race? Set to go. Watch the lights in the top right-hand side. We are away. Watch Russell Ingle in the middle. Does he get away to a good start? He's coming right up through the middle. Seaton got away to a beauty. It's going to be pretty tight in the first corner, but Seaton works it through. Bow got away to a great start as well.
This is on board with Murphy. You can hear it. You know it's Murphy because you can hear the squealing brakes.
He's trying to weave his way through past Pearson, past Larkin. Look at him go! Murphy is on fire. Right around the whole lot of him. He's up beside Stevie Richards now in the Valvoline Cummins machine and looking for a way past. He's got to come all the way back from row 13.
And it's definitely an angry Greg Murphy. Poor guy, you know, gets such bad luck.
Well, this is great pictures from the windscreens, O'Brien. Well, this is not in-car, this is on-car camera. Out the front, up behind Terry Finnegan. Boy, oh boy, Murphy has made up some places. There's Longhurst just up behind, in front of him rather. As we go out, it's Seaton, Bow. Then we go back to Russell Ingle, Dick Johnson and Alan Jones.
Yeah, poor old Jonesy wasn't too happy with his situation in the first one, so the second one I don't think he's going to be any better off.
Front left went onto the grass. The back end stepped out just a little. He hasn't been able to get past Mark Scape. Scape's doing a great job.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I was just going to say it's definitely going to slow the Murph's progress up because Scape is hot stuff on the worst of days, and to get past him is not going to be easy.
Well, you can see there your positions on your Shell Helix race score. It's still Seaton, Bow, Perkins, Johnson and Jones. Hey, your top 10 climbers. Here's Murph.
Gotcha.
Beautiful move there by Greg Murphy on the inside.
It doesn't come much closer than that.
Gardner, that's given Gardner a bit of incentive as well. He's come back up on Mark Scape. We ride with Scape now in the Australian 1000 Classic car. He's going to try and mount a comeback on Greg Murphy, but he's going to be pretty hard-pressed, I'd imagine. Murphy is really going very well here at the moment, and he's having a look at Peter Brock, his teammate. What's going to happen? Will anyone make a move? Murphy tried to unbrock, but he couldn't quite get there.
The difficult thing in a situation like this, you can be so intent on getting in front of the guy that's in front of you, and in the meantime, the guy that's behind you can take advantage of it and nip up the inside. So you have to keep both ends covered.
Here is our race leader, our winner from race 1, our championship points leader, and ironically or coincidentally, the last guy to win here a round of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship in a Ford was Glenn Seaton in 1993, the year that he won the championship. So it's looking that way. Have a look at our high camera shot there. It illustrates the point beautifully of the gap between first and second back to third.
Poor old John Bowers had a really lonely race, hasn't he?
He's been all by himself, so too Glenn Seaton, but I'm sure he's not too worried about that because he is coming home to take out race 2. 2 starts, 2 wins today. Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit Falcon does it again. Could this be another Sandown where he took the clean sweep? He's very happy with himself. Getting ready, race 3, the third and final race of the day, round 6 here at Eastern Creek. Can Seaton make it a clean sweep?
Perkins went to, he moved too early and realised he was going to be penalised and stopped. So,
oh, look at this. There's a big rub into turn 1, and it was Murphy down the inside, I think. Hard to call from this viewpoint, but that was real close through the first turn.
We go on board with Dick Johnson in the Shell Helix Falcon. John Bowers got a great start. This looks like we're on board with Greg Murphy. He is right up the back of Dick Johnson. Now he's on the inside. Look at this. Murphy's making an inside charge on Johnson. Fantastic stuff. Well, looks like we've lost, is it Larkham or Jones? It's Mark Larkham in the Mitre 10 Falcon, and Scaife has got some battle damage on board there as well.
That was a frantic start. It all was triggered by the fact that Larry Perkins got a shocker, and then that mixed the grid up. Everybody was getting stuck into everybody else in the first turn, and the same drama continued down to turn 2. One of the Castrol cars with the front guard rubbing, and it's Russell Ingall. Is it?
Yes,
Indeed it is, yes. And the front right's making contact there with the guard. The rest of them are blinded by it. So Russell in strife here, and that's not good for his championship aspirations.
Back to our leading pair. Bow and Seaton really starting to put the pressure on. There is a very dejected Greg Murphy. As I was saying about Seaton earlier on, his impeccable record here from 23 races since 1992, including both of those series. Seaton has won 11, not including this one. So he is really had a great time here at Eastern Creek. Let's see if he can make it a perfect day today. John Bow is standing in his way.
Glenn is really squeezing now. He's trying to close the gap. He may be in slightly better tyre shape than John. You can see John periodically glancing in the rear view mirrors. And I guess what Glenn's attempting to try and do now, apart from drive his car as hard as he can, is to push John into a mistake. And that's a difficult thing to do because John is a very calm, quiet, sensible driver who really executes his craft very well.
This is good, close V8 supercar racing. It's the third and final race. We've literally only got 2 and a bit laps left to run in this one. And John Bow is standing in the way of Glenn Seaton's perfect score here today. They come onto the main straight. When they cross the start-finish line, there will be 2 full laps left to run. Can Seaton do anything about the Shell Helix Falcon of John Bow?
I can't see Seaton risking it. You know, it's as Neil was saying, I mean, it's nonsense, you know, that Ingall's down in 4th place. He's the guy that Seaton's worried about at the moment, and to risk anything would be foolish, wouldn't it, Neil?
Oh, yeah, I think...
Oh, I haven't said that! Oh, crash clunk.
Whoops, and John's taken to the paddock. Well, hey, timing is everything in this industry, Barry. I'm glad you made that point at that critical moment.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Cito's done the job. He's squeezed through. That was remarkable. I wouldn't have said not half a second prior to that, like my colleague here, that he could possibly get away with it. But John just managed to understeer very slightly wide. There's a tiny little bit of panel damage on the car, and he's done the business. That is amazing. That car has got some mid-corner grip.
And John Bow is standing in the way of Glenn Seaton's perfect score here today. They come onto the main straight. When they cross the start-finish line, there will be 2 full laps left to run. Can Seaton do anything about the Shell Helix Falcon of John Bow?
I can't see Seaton risking it. You know, it's as Neil was saying, I mean, it's nonsense, you know, that Ingall's down in 4th place. He's the guy that Seaton's worried about at the moment, and to risk anything would be foolish, wouldn't it, Neil?
Oh, yeah, I think...
Oh, and it said that! Oh, crash clunk.
Whoops, and John's taken to the paddock. Well, hey, timing is everything in this industry, Barry. I'm glad you made that point at that critical moment.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Cito's done the job. He's squeezed through. That was remarkable. I wouldn't have said not half a second prior to that, like my colleague here, that he could possibly get away with it. But John just managed to understeer very slightly wide. There's a tiny little bit of panel damage on the car, and he's done the business. That is amazing. That car has got some mid-corner grip.
Dick Johnson sitting there in third, that's great. Then we go back to Russell Ingall, we pick up Peter Brock, Stephen Richards and Larry Perkins. Perkins has spun it! Oh, Larry and Stephen's gone too. So whether they can regain, they're going to lose a couple of positions.
Larry's in the kitty litter here.
Stephen Richards.
Oh, he's managed to get it out too. And they're going to resume the battle. They're still only 3 car lengths apart after all that. Larry won't be happy. Stephen's a hard little racer. Here's a replay of what happened here. Larry's made a lunge underneath, probably locked the rear brakes a little bit as, of course, Stephen moves to the left as well. So Larry's trying to not only stop the car, but turn it. It didn't want to know about it, and they've both had a half lose.
So some bad luck there for Stevie Richards as this guy, Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit Falcon, comes into turn 9. He's only got a couple of corners left to negotiate, and it is going to be another great day to remember in his V8 Supercar career. He did this at Sandown earlier in the year, and he's going to do it again. 3 starts, 3 wins.
And Glenn's crew will be very happy about this. They've taken a little bit of pressure off themselves now this weekend. A good weekend like this with 3 solid results and a big bag full of points just gives you the good impetus to go to the next round and feel confident.
Down the main straight, it is that score. 3 from 3 yet again for the Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton and his team. Congratulations to him. Some good hard driving, a fantastic result for them, and a great result for the Shell Helix team as well. John Bow in for second and Dick Johnson in for third. Now let's see if he gives us the thumbs up. He's looking a little more serious than what he usually does. Well, the grid there, very colourful. It's going to be exciting. We are missing Alan Jones. There he is in the pits.
That is such a shame, because Jonesy really had the race face on this.
Well, the word that we get from race control, he's got some front tyre problems and will unfortunately have to start from pit lane. Mark Osel, that's devastating.
Certainly is. Had to come into the pits to get some new rubber. That means he starts from the back, but we get a green light. All Fords at the front. John Bowen gets trounced by Glenn Seaton off the line. The 2 Shell Fords that go side by side into the kink and down to the carousel for the first time.
Glenn Seaton, what an unbelievable start. They head into the carousel. Let's hope they get through here cleanly. Johnson is around the outside. We go on board with Russell Ingall. He is right up behind the Mitre 10 Falcon of Mark Larkham. He gets out of the carousel quite nicely, but you can see he's got a lot of cars in front of him. Someone is out in the dirt.
On the dirt.
Dunlop, onboard camera. You're riding with Russell Ingall, the enforcer, as he tries to push his way past Mark Larkham. Larkham very quick in qualifying, his best result so far in the Mitre 10 Ford, and he's really got his hands full here as Ingall applies the thumb screws on this first opening lap. Top 10 cars covered by 0.6 of a second. Can you believe it?
Well,
how tight and competitive it is at Lakeside today.
Problem is, on this circuit, the difficult thing is to get past, you know, because it's very, very quick. And by the time somebody gets their nose in, that person's closed the door. So you have a look here at the end of the straight into the right-hander. See, Seaton's got it covered, you know, right up the inside. And it's interesting to see the battle between John Bow and Dick Johnson. So obviously they don't want to sort of knock each other off, but it's a difficult situation when someone's trying to get past.
The Mobile HRT cars have got up there as we go on board with Dick Johnson in the Shell Helix Falcon. He's sitting in third spot looking for every opportunity to get past his teammate John Bow. They're saying Brock and Murphy have come up. Tony Longhurst has dropped back. Oh, that's Palmer and Larkham.
Oh, dear me.
Boy.
The Larkham bug strikes again.
How many black cats has he run over? I don't believe this guy. He's had his best qualifying performance. He's got tangled up with Palmer. Coming out of the carousel, you can see there's a lot of damage there. And we've got a red flag situation. They're stopping the race. They would have had no other choice. Tim Schenkenclark, of course.
They got no choice there, Mark, because, I mean, there's no way anybody can get past. It's narrow enough as it is.
Here's the Shell Helix replay for you. It's coming out of the carousel, and there's Larkham.
Oh, Larkham lost it already.
Getting very sideways. Ingall does a good job to miss. Where's Faulkner going? He pulls it on the inside as well. Does he escape?
Oh, no, he does a little bit.
Now the Lansvale car, he's trying to squeeze through. He may just clip the back. Yes, just to rub the paint. Now we've got
John Trimble coming through. Here's it from another angle.
Larkham, you can see he's spun around there. Cars trying to get through. Alan Jones, man.
Oh, T-bone.
Well, Alan Jones managed to squeeze through, but Palmer had nowhere to go. Brakes locked up straight into the side of the Mitre 10 Ford. And Mark Larkham, can you believe it?
Positions changing on the grid. We are back to original starting position, so it's an absolute blessing in disguise for Alan Jones. There is Russell Ingall. He apparently, the word we get through, has some clutch problems, and he will be starting in pit lane. Terry Finnegan is off as well.
Off. And also for Dick Johnson, after the melee happened, he came back up on the dummy grid and he had a rear puncture. So it's kind of lucky for Dick Johnson and for Alan Jones. Alan Jones will be more than pleased about this.
Terry Finnegan will be very disappointed because after his great round, we've got the restart. Here we go. This is John Bow's second chance, but Seaton once again gets away to a tremendous start. Then we go back to Bow. AJ sits in third. Dick Johnson, Peter Brock's got up there. Tony Longhurst, and look at Larry Perkins nudging his way through.
You got to say that Seaton has got it made when it comes to the starts. You know, even now, you know, quarter of a lap and he's pulling away.
Glenn Seaton, so he's done it. 2 from 2, got away to an excellent start. Here we are on board with Peter Brock. Going through underneath the Dunlop Bridge, 215, 220 kilometres an hour, down into Hungary. Sitting in behind Dick Johnson as they climb the hill. Alan Jones can't believe his luck at the moment, I would imagine. After starting from pit lane in the original start, he gets to go back and he's sitting up in third and sitting pretty at the moment.
Well, Jonesy has been so aggressive all the way through qualifying and practice. You know, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Jonesy have a really look at sizing up John Bow there. Be a bit brave to get through on that fast left-hand kink.
Well, Jones was quickest in both non-qualifying sessions yesterday, grabbed third in official qualifying. He's happy. They've made a lot of improvements, and that's the disappointing thing about Mark Larkham, because they went back to Eastern Creek and did considerable testing and obviously got a lot of improvements from it. The distances between those 5 remain about the same, so Jones is doing a great job to hold Brock off.
Yeah, in the meantime, Seaton seems to be, well, not taking it easy, if you like, but he's running.
Here he goes.
Oh,
He's got him. Brock on the inside of the Komatsu Falcon, so Peter Brock moves up 1 position better. He now is in 4th position, and look at the guys at the back. Murphy's come right up on the inside. He's got Longhurst.
Longhurst.
Oh, that's a very fast section of the circuit for that to be happening. Longhurst, what a great job to hang on to it. Through the carousel. How about that, Baz?
I reckon that would have wound up Tony Longhurst's heart rate, because as you say, to go through there, I mean, a little touch somewhere is not so bad.
He's got
Longhurst with AJ.
Thought he had the inside run. Well, it's all about to happen here at Lakeside. Have a look at this. Jones, Longhurst, Murphy, and Stevie Richards is in there as well.
Jonesy's, look, that ain't Alan Jones. There's obviously a major problem with Jones.
Stephen Richards just went past 2 of them like they were standing still. He was the big winner out of that in the Valvoline Cummins Commodore. Now he's right on Murphy's tail. That's tremendous driving by Richards.
Richards is sensational.
Coming onto the main straight, Seaton's going to have enough to hold John Bow out. It's going to be a Ford credit victory. Yet again, John Bow pulls out of the slipstream, though, to give him everything he's got, but Seaton hangs on for the win ahead of John Bow. A great finish there for both Ford drivers. Well, Ingall's mechanics have been working overtime, fixing the clutch problem he had. A quick shot there of Peter Brock. He hasn't won a race here since 1983. Could this be his chance? He's going to have to do pretty well to get ahead of the Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton. We're away. Seaton gets away to another beautiful start ahead of John Bow. Gee, Seaton's good at starting. Brock looks like he's got the wood over Dick Johnson as they headed into the kink. No, he hasn't. Johnson comes back now. So the Shell Helix Falcon of Johnson's got the inside run. That's a good start by him. Murphy's on the inside. Then we go back to Ingall.
Glenn Seaton said he spent a whole day after the last touring car round just sitting out on the track practicing starts. He really murdered the transmission just to make sure he had a way of getting that car off the line cleanly.
Well,
and he's proving it here. Yeah. Huge advantage at Lakeside Raceway as Windscreens O'Brien takes us aboard Peter Brock's 05 Commodore, as he's right in the heart of this battle behind his teammate Greg Murphy and the flying Fords at the front.
Well, remember race 1, John Bow almost did it. Can he get ahead of Glenn Seaton nice and early here and perhaps pull away or just hold him out for the entire race? Barry, it was a really good finish.
Yeah, I'm just looking now. You see Murphy's pulling away from Brock, and Murphy's a lot quicker at the beginning of this race than he was at the end of the last race. So it's hopefully we're going to see some great stuff from the Murph.
Ingall tries an outside line there on Peter Brock. It was unsuccessful. They come down hard on the brakes into the carousel. Look at these top four. You couldn't get them any closer. Longhurst starting to come right up on Larry Perkins as well. So the two Castrol cars, one a Commodore, one a Falcon, they're having a good battle. Have a look at them out of Hungary. They tend to get a little sideways as Larry starts to come up on Peter Brock now. On the inside, he's got the inside run on Peter, and he's got him. So Brocky just moves over a little, lets him through. He's got some problems, though.
Definitely problems, because a lap or so ago he started lapping slower, in actual fact 2 laps ago, so he's obviously suffering some sort of trouble.
Tony Longhurst just scooted through on the inside there too, so Brock's lost a lot of speed.
There's your Shell Helix race score for you. Seaton, Bow, Johnson, Murphy, Ingle, and all of the gaps on your right-hand side. Perkins, Longhurst, we go all the way back. Karen Brewer is in 15th position. That's an outstanding effort for our young female driver, only 22 years of age. As we ride now, we're on board with Russell Ingle, the Dunlop in-car camera, and have a look how close he is to Greg Murphy. Pulls to the outside going into the eastern loop, then tucks back in behind Murph. This is good, close V8 supercar racing.
Oh, Seaton! Oh, no!
Well, it's never over till it's over, is it? When he start building that big lead, he was looking absolutely unbeatable here, and look at this, he's gone into the tyre wall.
Oh,
Lap 16 of 23. Right out in front, looked like he was doing it easily, but he's come off big time.
Well, if that would have been the last thing you would have put your money on, Mark, wouldn't it?
We were just about to say that he's going for his 5th straight win in a row, and there he is. Nose into the tyre wall.
Don't know what the situation was there. He may have tangled with the slower car, or whether he's had a mechanical failure. We're not sure at this stage, but he is absolutely shattered. The crowd showing their support, but Glenn Seaton, I know how serious he is, how committed, how determined he is to win this championship in '97. And he really was cruising. And now he's come off. Let's have a look at that in the Shell Helix replay. Let's see if we can pick up what happened to Glenn Seaton. He would have come through at that stage. So he's already come off. And there he is. So not quite sure
it's hard to say there, because to get out as far as he's got out to the wall, it looks as if something went wrong prior to turning into the corner, because it's just too far. He's too sort of over to the left as far as hitting the tyres are concerned. Your guess is as good as mine. It just, I think there's more to it than meets the eye, put it that way.
Well, there's been some hard luck stories here this weekend. Another one too is Paul Romano, when he went out in an earlier accident, an earlier practice session, and Romano was red hot here at Lakeside this weekend. He broke the lap record in the wet on Friday, and just had a little bit of an accident, sustained some damage to the car, too much to compete. So hard luck for Paul Romano, but it's looking very, very good for this guy here, coming out of the eastern loop, out of the right-hander, onto the main straight, and it is a win in race 2 for the Shell Helix team driver, John Bow. He'll be happy with that. It's a 1-2, in fact, for the Shell Helix team. Dick Johnson in for 2nd. Greg Murphy hung on for 3rd, and he'll be happy about that. Keep in mind that Glenn Seaton is not here. He is missing from this 3rd and final race, so too much damage sustained in that 2nd race. We're getting ready for a start. Green light, away we go. Let's see who gets the jump. Have a look at Ingle on the inside.
What about Murphy on the dirt?
It's all happened from the start there. Ingle got away to a great jump. We go on board with Dick Johnson here. There's Murphy on the inside. They had a bit of a tangle as well. Murphy's got the inside run.
No!
Oh, did you look at Greg Murphy? Look across. They've all gone off into the kiddie litter. Goodness me. The most dramatic opening half a lap. Cars going everywhere. We'll try and recap what happened there. You could see Murphy looking across when he got the tap off the line. He was furious, and then it continued all the way down to the carousel.
Well, there's some pretty serious muscling going on there. Unbelievable stuff going into the first corner, even before the kink. So it's Russell Ingle who leads the way. Then we go back to John Bow. There's Murphy a little further back. Faulkner's up there. So too is Ashby.
Russell Ingle really got the hammer down off that 2nd row. Brilliant start from the Castrol. Number 8, and look at this big attack on the outside. We take Shell Helix replay. Dick Johnson right alongside Greg Murphy there as they head down toward the carousel.
This is under brakes going into the carousel. Watch there. Just about coming into contact there as they run very, very wide. Here it is from another angle. Keep your eyes on Murphy and Johnson. There it is there. Diving up the inside was Longhurst. Murphy's gone right off the circuit, so too Johnson. That allowed Brock through, Faulkner through, the whole field through, and Stevie Richards is into the gravel as well.
Well, you can see a big attack from John Bow just before we cut to that replay, and he hasn't been able to find his way past Ingle. We're looking at the back of Russell Ingle's Commodore. John Bow in the Shell 18 Ford climbing all over the back of the Castrol Commodore with Tony Longhurst. A great start from him in third position.
John Bow, race 2. That was his first race win here at Lakeside since 1995. He was very happy about that. He'd like to do it again. He's going for the round when Murphy is in the pits. So it is all over. The day's finished early for Greg Murphy, and he would be furious.
Just the story of his championship, isn't it, Lee? He's had so much rotten luck, it just seems to haunt him race after race after race. He pulls out of another one. Look at Russell Ingle under plenty of fire from the Shell 18 Ford. John Bow, he wants to win this thing. Tony Longhurst locked in behind the Shell Ford. Then Peter Brock on 0.5, his farewell drive at Lakeside, up in 4th position, the first of the HRT cars, well, the only remaining HRT car. Allen's had a few problems with tyres today, running on the Bridgestone rubber, and just can't quite get the setup right on the car so it doesn't burn up the tyres. Shell Helix onboard camera with Dick Johnson as he continues his charge through the field after getting caught up in that first corner accident with Greg Murphy.
Down onto the main straight comes Russell Ingle. The checkered flag comes out, and he takes out race 3 here today at Lakeside. And look at that, yes, the clenched fist. He is very, very happy. He knew he needed that, and he is ecstatic. Good on you, Russell Ingle. A good win there. The third and final race here at Lakeside. John Bow in for second. Tony Longhurst, his first podium finish of the year. He'll be delighted with those efforts. And Peter Brock in his last drive, there he is, the king of the road. We get ready for the start. This is round 8 of the 1997 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship, the first of 3 races here today in Western Australia. Very important for Murphy to get away to the best possible start. Let's keep an eye on the lights. Green they go. Murphy, he gets a lot of wheel spin off the line. Seaton's gone out onto the grass, and he's damaged his front spoiler by the look of it, but Ingle's got the jump.
Fantastic start, and look at that, there's been contact at the first corner. Stephen Richards and Russell Ingle go off into the sand. Looked like Ingle had a little bit more momentum. He may get back onto the track, but you can see that contact as they tried to squeeze through that first turn. So it's a Mobile Holden Racing Team 1-2. Greg Murphy survives on the inside. Peter Brock comes up to join him in second.
Unbelievable. We said to keep your eyes on the first turn. AJ's back there in third, and it's Murphy who will lead them around through Shell Corner for the very first time. Unbelievable. Stephen Richards will go no further in this race. He's buried.
Well, Greg Murphy and Russell Ingle had a bumping duel down into the first corner, but in the end, Russell turned into the corner a bit quick. He and Stephen Richards got caught up together, and obviously here's Steve on the outside of Russell Ingle, gone straight into the sand. He's got nowhere to go, and Russell luckily isn't deep into the sand, so he's been able to drive across, get onto the grass and get back out on the road, although last.
Well, there was a lot of speculation before that there was going to be contact at that first turn. Look at this big challenge under brakes as they sweep through. Larry Perkins at the front of that quartet. Glenn Seaton trying to find his way through. He got squeezed on that start. He was in 5th position on the grid. As we go aboard the Ford Credit Falcon, 200 kilometres an hour in these wet conditions. He's trying to look for a way on the inside of John Faulkner as they brake hard for Bridgestone Loop. So Seaton really fighting for position.
Look how close he is to John Faulkner. Faulkner's fighting Bow, and Perkins has done a tremendous job to get up there.
So braking hard now as they come through Shell Corner, up over the Barbagallo rise, down toward Cold Corner. Conditions still very slippery. You can see the amount of rain still on the screen of Glenn Seaton's car as he tries to find a way through past John Faulkner.
The ideal start for the 2 Mobile HRT cars. They're off out in front and streaking away. Alan Jones will be happy about this. It's Faulkner on the inside into Cold Corner. He's got a good inside run there on JB, and he's taken him.
Well, the Bridgestone tyres have been pretty dominant throughout qualifying here. John Faulkner, of course, running on the Bridgestones, and they're very, very effective under these conditions. Look at Seaton now having a challenge on Bow on the inside. They'll come over side by side. Look at the damage to the front spoiler of Glenn Seaton's Ford. If that thing continues to break up, Mark Scape, that's going to affect his performance.
It certainly will. Look, Glenn will have a lot of understeer. The cars have about 100 kilos of downforce at the front, and with the damage to the front spoiler, Bow back now up the inside to do the crisscross on Glenn. This is a real battle for the championship, and obviously Glenn will be doing a good job to stay in that position.
Martin Larkham comes up the inside as well. He has a look now at the back of John Bow. Terry Finnegan is right on Larkham. Have a look at this. 6 cars, in fact, in a nice little bunch. They're all chasing Perkins, who's sitting there in 4th position, and Seaton will keep a close eye on that damage at the front end. Murphy and Peter Brock, and the king of the road's got him. Up the inside, Brock goes into the lead, down through Cold Corner. So we have a new race leader.
Well, the fans are cheering here on pit straight, and Peter Brock goes into the lead. Interesting to see now if he can open the gap on Greg Murphy. Mark Scaife, the opinion a couple of laps ago that he was holding him up, and already it looks like he's opening it up, but you can hear the crowd cheer as Peter Brock comes up on the pit straight once again. He's leading this one. Greg Murphy back to second position, Alan Jones in third, and look at the amount of ground Larry Perkins has made up. He's right on this leading trio.
Perkins is right up there now as we go on board with Peter Brock very briefly there. He now leads this race from his teammate Greg Murphy. Keep your eye on Perkins because he's come right up on the back of Alan Jones. He's just done a 1:05.11. That's 2 seconds quicker than what the HRT cars are doing.
Well, that's right. These Dunlop tyres, in these dry conditions, they are working a treat. Bow, too, is going very quickly. He's just on a 64.4, so he's really closing the gap. They're all going to bunch up if the conditions stay the same.
Perkins.
And, yep, Perkins just snuck inside Alan Jones.
He drove around the outside of him at that left-hander and then up the inside for the next, which means really the grip level is very, very high. And you can see now by the amount of grip he's got, he's back up the inside of Murphy. Fantastic move. I mean, it just shows at this part of the race, the Dunlop supremacy with a big block, wet weather tyre they're using.
Here comes Larry. Peter Brock's lead may only last for a very short time because Perkins is just on fire. I'm going to be very keen to have a look at our timing monitor when they come across the line this time through because Perkins is just on fire. He's now up into second position. Keep in mind he started way back in 11th position.
And John Bow, you talk about Perkins pouncing, look at that, the Shell 18 Falcon, he's made up an enormous amount of ground, so he's up behind Jones too. So the Dunlop cars are absolutely flying as these track conditions change. 1:04.19, Bow is absolutely flying. We go on board with Bow. Shell Helix, Falcon down the inside of Jones, did it very, very easily. I think Alan gave him a little bit of racing room there, knowing there was no point in fighting. He's obviously got a massive grip advantage. And look at him pick up on Murphy. 2 cars coming into cold, 1 coming out. He is absolutely on a flyer. This is fantastic for John Bow, particularly in terms of his championship position. And Larry Perkins now takes the lead from Peter Brock. So it's a Dunlop onslaught. But Perkins more than has Bow covered. You know, Larry, he's going to hold him out all the way. He's a very, very tough customer. Look at him move over to the inside line to make sure that Bow, if he's going to overtake, has to go the long way around. Last lap.
This is going to be a great final lap. You're on board with John Bow. We were there for a moment. Now he cuts it back to the inside. Here goes JB. Has a look on the outside of Larry, then brings it back in. Well, 3/4 of a lap left to run here at Barbagallo. The first race of round 8 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Could John Bow start the day on a high note, or is it going to be Larry's day?
Well, fellas, can I change my bet now? Because I put my money on Bowie a minute ago.
Yeah, well, Larry Perkins, he's a very experienced guy. We've seen him in this situation plenty of times, and he's answered the challenge from Bow. Unless he makes a mistake here, he could well have the Shell 18 car covered.
Here goes John Bow. This is his final run. Let's see what he can do about Larry Perkins. If Perkins has got the inside run, which I'm pretty sure he will have, this will be Larry's race. JB has got to do it the long way. They come down into Yokohama. He's not going to be able to do it from there. It's going to be Larry Perkins as they come onto the main straight. The Castrol Commodore of Larry Perkins takes out race 1 here at Barbagallo. What a finish.
What a fantastic drive from Larry Perkins and John Bow. It was clean stuff. They took the gamble on tyres. The track conditions changed. They pushed and pushed, and not a bit of paint swap. Fantastic racing.
We're getting ourselves ready for race 2. There's John Bow. He is ready to go. Larry Perkins on the right-hand side of him. Green, and we are away for race 2. It's perfectly dry conditions. Have a look at the biff and barge back in there. Jones was involved in that. Seaton has lost his front spoiler completely.
Well, he's running out of spoilers. That was his 3rd one. I don't think he's got any more in the truck. That's unbelievably bad luck for Seaton. He's gone off on the grass, got agricultural. He's broken off the spoiler once again. He's in big trouble.
Well, there was plenty of biff and barge at the start of that. Hossak's been the big winner out of that. He's moved up in front of Seaton. So Glenn has a lot of work to do now, but it's John Bow who leads the way from Perkins, Brock. Then we go back to Longhurst. Alan McCarthy, the local privateer, is up there in the top 5 yet again.
Keep in mind those under trays on those spoilers generate a lot of downforce in the front of these cars. Once you lose them, it's very, very hard to steer. And Seaton is going to have to struggle. Look at Alan McCarthy on the outside of Russell Ingall. Had a great run in that first heat, made a good selection on tyres, went for slicks. The track dried out and he moved his way right up the order. Now he's getting swamped by the cream of Australia's touring car talent as they come down toward the pit straight for the first time.
Murphy caught in the middle there. He's trying to find a way through. There's Melinda Price. So her race has ended on the very first lap. She has ended up in the sand. Have a look at Murphy weaving his way around, trying to get through on Ingall.
Yeah, Peter Brock, great move up the inside of Larry Perkins. Great start, John Bowe. They both jumped the same. Here we go. There's lunacy in the background there with Jones. He's got hit. Ended up pushing Glenn off the side of the road. He's knocked the front spoiler off, and obviously he's in a bit of trouble now. John Bowe, great start, and into the first corner in front of Larry Perkins.
Well, this is really going to spice the championship up now, because after that first race, Glenn Seaton had a 10-point lead over John Bowe. Bowe moved up into second, only 2 points ahead of Russell Ingall. Now with Seaton with those problems and Bowe in front, this has really played into the hands of JB.
So we'll see if Murphy can work on Larry Perkins, but we saw in Heat 1 a very, very tough customer to pass. Alan Jones working the back of teammate Russell Ingall's car. So it's a really great battle here. That'll be good for Alan Jones and the Stone brothers. Though Alan's had a bit of trouble keeping tyres under the car in dry conditions. They've been burning out pretty quickly, but the car looking now quite consistent over a period of laps.
Well, this is looking good for John Bowe, as well as we got to move up the inside. Murphy's got Perkins. He has put it up the inside in Cold Corner, and so too has Jones. Jones has got past Ingall. So all happened in the one corner. Good work there by Murphy and Jones. They go up one position better. Murphy is up into third now behind teammate Brock.
Well, the Fords are on the attack. Alan Jones now gets in front of Ingall. He's got Larry Perkins in his sight. Big freight train at the front. The Shell Ford 18 leading this battle. Two Mobile Holden Racing Team Commodores. We've got 6 laps to go. Anything could happen. Brock perfectly positioned on the inside of the corner, so Murphy's got to go the long way round again. A little bit of experience there showing from Peter Brock.
Jones is through as well. Alan Jones is squeezing through on the inside of Murphy. Have a look at this. Murphy won't give up though. Jones has got the inside run to the next one, and he's got there. How about that for gutsy driving?
This is vintage Alan Jones. When this guy gets the red eyes on, man, he goes for it. Look how aggressive he is here, taking them one by one. Unbelievably aggressive advance from Alan Jones. Fantastic stuff in the Komatsu Ford.
The best thing about this is giving Bowe a little break, because obviously Brock and Murphy torturing each other there at the last little piece, and Jonesy getting them. Bowie's got 2 or 3 car lengths now, and with only 1 lap to go, you couldn't put enough money on him.
Well, Alan Jones saw what Peter Brock was doing, and he said, well, I'll tag in behind you there, thanks, Peter, and he just forced his way through. We're coming down lap 19 of 20. They'll come around to get that last lap board, and it'll be on for young and old. John Bowe in the Shell Helix Falcon. Peter Brock, the Mobile HRT car. This is their final lap. Jones in the Komatsu Falcon.
Well, whatever problems those boys have been having the setup on this car in the last few races, it looks like they've cured it here. One of the toughest circuits on tyres in Australia, and Alan Jones' car is working a treat.
And one of the guys that we haven't seen too much, but at the end of this queue, is Steve Richards. He has done a fantastic job. 59.5. He's half a second faster than anybody else. He's caught Larry Perkins, and really the fastest of the group of, say, 7 or 8 leaders.
He had some bad luck in the first race where he was on the outside of Russell Ingall and just ended up in the sand. But Stevie Richards in the Valvoline Cummins Commodore is sitting in 6th and going exceptionally well.
There's only 4 seconds covering this leading 7 cars. They are very, very close. Here's the man at the head of the steam train. John Bowe on the Shell 18 Ford. He has resisted the pressure from the 2 Mobile Holden Racing Team cars all the way through. Now Brock comes up the inside. Bowe takes the conservative line once again, and Alan Jones on the attack.
This is it. It's coming down to the finish. Final corner out of Yokohama. This is the run to the line. Have a look at this. Murphy's coming up into it as well. John Bowe will hang on for the win, and Murphy's got Jones. How about that for a finish? Unbelievable stuff.
Well, whatever problems those boys have been having the setup on this car in the last few races, it looks like they've cured it here. One of the toughest circuits on tyres in Australia, and Alan Jones' car is working a treat.
And one of the guys that we haven't seen too much, but at the end of this queue, is Steve Richards. He has done a fantastic job. 59.5. He's half a second faster than anybody else. He's caught Larry Perkins, and really the fastest of the group of, say, 7 or 8 leaders.
He had some bad luck in the first race where he was on the outside of Russell Ingall and just ended up in the sand. But Stevie Richards in the Valvoline Cummins Commodore is sitting in 6th and going exceptionally well.
There's only 4 seconds covering this leading 7 cars. They are very, very close. Here's the man at the head of the steam train. John Bowe on the Shell 18 Ford. He has resisted the pressure from the 2 Mobile Holden Racing Team cars all the way through. Now Brock comes up the inside. Bowe takes the conservative line once again, and Alan Jones on the attack.
This is it. It's coming down to the finish. Final corner out of Yokohama. This is the run to the line. Have a look at this. Murphy's coming up into it as well. John Bowe will hang on for the win, and Murphy's got Jones. How about that for a finish? Unbelievable stuff. This weather has turned sour in between race 2 and this one here. We've had a massive hailstorm and thunderstorm, but we're ready to roll for race 3. You can see all the wipers on. It has stopped raining now, but the track's still very wet. We are away. The 3rd and final race here at Barbagallo. Looked like Perkins got off to a bit of a wobbly start, but he's on now. Bow got away to a good one. Brock's on the outside, but John Bow will take them through the first corner. Murphy on the inside of Brock.
Great start from Russell Ingall on the inside. Oh, we've had to come off here. And John Bow and Peter Brock, both, well, they came together coming out of turn one. Now Bow has gone right to the back of the pack.
Well, you wouldn't believe that. Our race 2 winner has just been, well, dealt a savage blow. He is right at the back of the pack. That puts Murphy into the front. Ingall, then Perkins. We watched the field come through. Jones was further back, but Greg Murphy now leads the way.
And look at that great start from Stephen Richards. He's right up there behind Larry Perkins. Tony Longhurst attacking on the outside, but the Valvoline Cummins Commodore, he had a fantastic run in Heat 2 to come from the back of the field up to 6th. Now he's carrying that pace right through, side by side, as they come down toward Yokohama Corner for the first time. Lights ablaze.
Keep your eyes on Longhurst. Here he comes up the inside as well. He's having a look on the inside of Perkins. Whether he'll get him or not, we'll have to wait and see. But Stevie Richards in the Valvoline Cummins Commodore is going great guns. Early stages, he's up into 3rd position already. That's a terrific effort.
Steve, it was a great pass, obviously, to get up the inside of Longhurst and then get Larry. And looking inside Peter Brock's car by the look of that, looking back, and he's obviously had a drama there with Bowie. I'm not sure what happened with the contact there. I couldn't really catch it.
Well, there may have been some coming together between the two, but Greg Murphy now, his teammates leading the race. Let's have a look up the Shell Helix replay, see if we can see what happened there. Well, there was already, looked like contact between them. And they've gone right off in the sand there. Bow falling to the back of the field. Brock rejoining the field a little earlier. Let's look at this again. Well, pretty hard to tell from that angle whether there was contact or not. But it's both been costly for both of those guys at a very critical point in the championship, particularly for John Bow.
Brock kept the boot into it, and luckily he escaped from that sand trap. We've got a great battle going on behind this. Greg Murphy is leading the way. It's early days yet, but have a look further back as they come around Yokohama Corner. It is Stevie Richards who's been relegated back. Ingall, have a look at Longhurst on the grass, trying to get on the inside of Stevie Richards. He puts his hand out the window and says, hey, come on.
Tony was obviously up the inside of him, and really Steve was probably on the slide and battled to get it across to cover Tony. And obviously Tony thought he had racing room there. And in the end, Tony did well not to actually have a bump up that little short straight.
Choosing to repair one of his 3 damaged spoilers rather than fit the one that was generously offered by the Dick Johnson Racing Team. Alan Jones has a sniff around the outside of Larry Perkins. That's a pretty precarious place around here, but he's got him too. Good aggressive run from the Komatsu Falcon. Jones once again on fire.
Tucked in behind Larry there is Peter Brock, so he's coming back fairly forceful as well. He's got the outside run on Larry going into Kolb Corner. It's the long way round down there, unfortunately, though. So we go on board with Peter Brock. The windscreen's O'Brien in-car camera. We ride with him. He's got the inside run. Oh, there's been contact between Brock and Perkins. Larry's hung onto it. Got a bit of a fishtail as he climbed the hill, and Faulkner's been the big winner out of that one.
Goodness me. Plenty of muscling coming out of Kolb Corner that time around. Plenty of damage on the side of Perkins' car. John Faulkner, meanwhile, takes advantage. He slips up into the sandwich. There's some serious elbowing between Brock and Perkins that time around.
Murph just making his way past local privateer Sean Walker. And there's the gap. That shot illustrates it beautifully, just how big the gap is back to Stevie Richards in the Valvoline Cummins Commodore. Not quite as close as the last race, Mark Osler.
No, we've had 2 absolute rippers. Every time we go to a round, we say, well, this is the best racing we've seen so far.
We're seeing a good battle here between Jones and Perkins. Larry will be looking to get the upper hand here on AJ. Time is running out. It should be a spectacular last lap. Up the front, it's pretty spacious, so we'll stay with this battle. Jones has just got the wood on Perkins. This is the battle for 4th and 5th. Here goes Larry. This is where he passed Longhurst before around the outside, but he won't do it to AJ this time. Now he has a go on him.
Oh, no love lost here. The old Formula 1 sparring partners, they're both over in Europe, cut their teeth in Formula 3. And they know a bit about each other's tactics. Look at Perkins. Oh, they're out of touch there. Alan Jones managed to catch on. Larry's gone right off in the sand.
Great save, Alan Jones. I mean, when Larry looked like he had the wheels locked and give Jonesy a bump, he still stayed on.
Meanwhile, Greg Murphy has taken the win. Congratulations, Murph. A really good win there in race 3. And Stevie Richards in for 2nd. What a terrific finish for him. And Peter Brock will pick up 3rd, and that will give him today's round win. Congratulations to Peter Brock. He hasn't won since 1990.
watch the first series of corners because it's going to be like Piccadilly Circus on a Saturday afternoon.
Green light, we are away. Let's see who's got the jump. Perkins got away to a good start. Murphy as well. Murphy's going to take him through the first corner.
Oh,
now
somebody's
let's see.
locking her up there. Round goes Brocky.
Scaife involved in that one as well.
Yeah,
I just hope he can survive that. Yep, all the fields managed to get through fairly cleanly, but he was right in the middle of that. He would have been holding his breath, clenching his teeth, hoping everyone got by. The luck's on his side today.
Yeah, we couldn't really see what happened. It did look as if he got a little bit of a tap up the backside as on board with Dick Johnson.
Well, there were plenty of guys muscling into that first turn. There's Bev Brock, Peter's wife, watching on anxiously from pit lane. Peter goes right to the back of the field. His teammate, Greg Murphy, though, has got through faster than anyone. He'll lead them down the back straight for the first time. Larry Perkins under attack, under brakes, and Glenn Seaton in third position.
Oh, up the inside bow. Oh, that was close.
Ingles jumped up a couple of spots as well. Alan Jones, and we go back Longhurst, Richards, Hossack. The field all getting through okay. That first corner, Scotcher curve, always creates some mayhem, and there is Scaife. Mark Scaife has got big problems.
Well, a bit of a comeback drive at Malala. He's going to run there, and at Oran Park he hasn't got away cleanly through that first turn. Meanwhile, Greg Murphy feeling plenty of heat from Larry Perkins in the 11 Commodore. Seaton gets some air under that tyre. He leads John Bow through, and Russell Engel up to 5th. A great start from the Castrol teammate.
Yeah, it's a very difficult circuit to overtake here. There's not really many places. At the end of the back straight, it's really hard work, you know, to get up the inside, and that's about one of the very few places you can pass.
Well, there's your championship battle. Seaton, Bow and Engel. 1, 2, 3. They're battling for 3rd, 4th and 5th position. Looks like Tony Longhurst. Yeah, he's in trouble as well.
Yeah, keep your eyes on those three. Here's Murphy. He's out in front. He's doing very well. He's got away to a good jump. Here's the replay. Scaife
locks her up and taps Brocky up the bum, for want of a better word.
Bow was lucky, yeah.
Oh, look at AJ, lucky on the dirt there.
Snuck through on the inside.
Let's
so
have a look.
Managed to survive.
A different angle. Here's the high shot for you. Now watch closely in that middle pack, Scaife and Brock.
Oh, somebody, no, it was
Engel.
Engel banged Mark Scaife up the back, and Scaife went into the back of Brocky.
So it's a chain reaction there, a bit of a domino effect. Started 2 cars back. Brock was the recipient of the damage, so he spun right around, and fortunately the field managed to miss him.
Poor old Mark Scaife, he was looking forward to a great return here at Malala. He does very, very well here at the Malala circuit, but his race 1 is over. Let's hope the Gibson Motorsport team can get things fixed for race 2.
Go the Murph. I mean, he's on such good form, and when you think of everything that's happened to him all through the year, you know, for the end of the year to come right for him, it's if it's going to come right any time, it's the good end of the year.
Yeah, don't forget too that he'll team up with Craig Lowndes, the Bathurst winning pair, Sandown and Bathurst winning pair from last year later in the year, so this augurs well for the Mobile Holden racing team as the endurance races come closer. Larry Perkins in 2nd position, just sitting behind, 1.5 seconds. Murphy's just slowly building that gap, pulled out a couple of tenths on Larry. So Murph well in control of this race at the moment. Glenn Seaton, 1.9, almost 2 seconds behind Greg Murphy. So position staying fairly static. John Bow back in 4th.
Oh, Larry getting it sideways. Seaton, Bow, Engel, here they come. The leading trio for the championship. Seaton's lead at one stage during this year was in excess of 40 points. It's now down to 2. And John Bow, when you talk to him, he said, well, I'm the last bloke in the world who can believe I am where I am, but I'm pretty happy about it. Jones, hard on the brace on Dick Johnson. And I guess we can't give enough credit, but we'll pay enough credit to Dick with that injury. Going very well. We go back on the Dunlop in-car camera with John Bow.
Yeah, I did that brake thing with Seaton. I don't think he has got brake trouble. It must have been just a big all-out effort from JB that lap, because John hasn't been making hardly any ground. Out the front, the Murph is taking it nice and easy now. He's got just about a 3-second lead.
Last lap remaining for this battle. Glenn Seaton in 3rd, Bow in 4th, Engel in 5th. What a tremendous fight, not only for this race, but for the championship.
We're looking forward to the next race. Someone else would want to get a pretty good start, otherwise Murphy's going to run away with it today. John Bow now, under brakes on. Glenn Seaton, he knows this is his last opportunity to really throw everything he's got at Seaton. The Ford Credit Falcon moves out to the left-hand side, going up the back section of the straight through Shell Curve.
I tell you, Seaton's car's not slow, is it? He's just pulling away on acceleration. Ain't going to get around there.
Takes the best battle position right down the middle of the road, leaning over the inside of the track. There's nowhere for Bow. He wants to get past. He's got to go around the long way. Seaton covering his track, shifts up. XR Falcon on board camera, riding with our championship leader as he breaks hard for the S's for the final time.
As we said, he's celebrating his 100th drive as we go up to the front, and Greg Murphy takes out race 1 here today at Mallala. Good on you, Greg. A good, solid drive. Larry Perkins will be happy with his 2nd spot. Now, let's keep an eye on it. Glenn Seaton does hang in there to pick up 3rd spot, and he'll be happy about that. That's a good way to celebrate his 100th Shell Australian Touring Car drive.
Well, we're only seconds away from the start of Heat 2. See, they interview Glenn Seaton was going to make some setup changes to the car to try and make it more durable. Had a bit of problem with traction during the middle of that race. They get the green light, they're away. Holden Racing team car. Greg Murphy leads them down towards Scotcher Curve for the first time, but there's a real tussle on for 2nd and 3rd. Squeeze through there. Might have been Johnson who went off the line. He's up on the ripple strips as they hang through here. Holding the inside, but looks like a reasonably clean start. They're 3 wide. Upside Dick Johnson, see Alan Jones and Stevie Richards muscling through there. A very action-packed start, but it looks like they've gone through reasonably cleanly.
Alan Jones squeezed his way on the inside. There's Kieran Brewer, but have a look at the flight up the front of the pack. It's Murphy. Then we go back to Larry Perkins, Glenn Seaton, John Bowe and Russell Ingall, that same little threesome. Then we go back to Johnson, Richards and Jones. Darren Hossack is up there mixing it with them as well.
Yeah, it's nice to see Larkham coming up with the inside there. He had some problems in the first race, so hopefully he's got it sorted.
Really close start. Ingall squeezed his way through, tried to squeeze his way around the outside of Bowe, but they stayed in the same positions.
Thundering down the back straight, braking hard for Bridgestone Corner the first time around. We saw Murphy had plenty of speed on in the first heat. He stretched it on Larry Perkins, opened it up as much as he liked. The lead was out to about 3 seconds in that first heat. Perkins now up in 2nd position, Seaton in 3rd. Then you got Bowe. Ingall up behind Bowe. Dick Johnson breathing down the Castrol driver's neck. There's Stevie Richards, Alan Jones on the Charger, Mark Larkham in the Mitre 10 Ford.
It'll be interesting to see what the tyre situation is here, because the temperature's coming up, and normally when the temperature comes up, the Bridgestone really comes into its own. So watch out in the next few laps and see if Murphy pulls out a tool on Perkins.
Well, if things remain as they are, we could see a duplicate of the first race with Murphy and Larry just running away with it. We'll concentrate on 3, 4 and 5. We'll have to wait and see. It's pretty important for Bowe and Ingall to try and finish ahead of Glenn Seaton. The points in terms of the championship is now 8 points covering the top 3. Before the first race, of course, it was 4. 2 in between each driver. Ingall has a look up the inside of Bowe.
Oh, and he made a little bit of contact with Johnson there.
Well, you can't say that Ingall's shy, can you? I mean, whatever anybody says about Ingall, he certainly does have a go.
Stephen Richards tried to take advantage of that little kerfuffle too.
As far as television is concerned, it's not so much the enforcer as the entertainer, is it?
Dunlop on-car camera. John Bowe, the look from the back, the view from the back. We saw this in the first race. Russell Ingall trying every move in the book. Over, under, inside, outside, trying to find a way through on John Bowe. He couldn't quite do it. Positions are Murphy, Perkins, Seaton, Bowe. And we go back, Russell Ingall, Stevie Richards, Alan Jones.
Isn't it amazing how these 3 leading guys are running together? They did it throughout the first race, and now they're bunched up again in a threesome for the 2nd.
Well, that's so good for the championship, and I mean, normally it'd be sod's law that one of the championship contenders would go out of it, but to, as you say, to have the 3 of them together, it's quite incredible.
Let's have a look at an earlier incident. Here is the Shell Helix replay. Ingall up the outside. Watch Johnson. Ingall switches lines and bang, cops a little g'day, how you going from DJ.
In the Shell sandwich, and look at Stevie Richards.
Yeah.
Pushed up the inside. Stephen is on an absolute flyer. He's right up behind Russell Ingall now. The Valvoline Cummins Commodore. We saw the Gary Rogers Motorsport car do very well at Barbagallo last weekend, and now it's really flying. Steve was very confident this morning about the setup on the car, particularly working well. And you can see he's got those cooling veins on the front brakes, because this is very tough on the stoppers.
Well, he finished 8th in the first race behind Alan Jones. His confidence is nice and high at the moment, so Stevie Richards on a roll. He's in there behind Ingall.
And a big blow-up for Mark Larkham, the Mitre 10 Ford. She's let go in a big way. Look at the smoke pouring out of the exhaust. He's dumped a load of oil over there. Hopefully everyone will get through without spinning. But that's a major blow-up for Mark Larkham.
Well,
what a shame.
He also had some problems here at Mallala last year. He's involved in a pretty nasty incident with Paul Romano, so he's over. Race 2 is over for him. We go back to our race leader, Greg Murphy, the number 15 Mobil HRT Commodore, and you can see there that he's pulled out a handy little gap over Perkins.
The gap between Perkins and Seaton, you can see Perkins up there. Opened up quite a gap to Seaton earlier on, but looks like the gap may be closing. Keep an eye on that.
Well, Greg Murphy has never had a clean sweep at a round of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. He did win 2 races at Symonds Plains in Tasmania in those dreadful conditions earlier this year. Peter Brocky's teammate won the other one that day. They got a Mobile HRT 1-2. This could be Murph's day. He could get the clean sweep.
JB is definitely going to have a go somewhere at Glen.
It's much closer to Seaton. They break hard and into the back straight for Bridgestone corner. Go on board with John Bow. Right behind the Ford Credit Racing Falcon. 2 laps to go. Running out of opportunities on the 2.6-kilometre circuit. Try and make a passing opportunity. Seaton very much focused on the fact he just wants to beat Ingle and Bow today and keep building on that little points buffer he's got.
The Dunlop in-car camera with John Bow. This is the closest that John's been to Glenn Seaton the entire race distance. Let's see what JB's got up his sleeve, whether he can throw down the challenge. You always get me on that one, don't you?
It looks like Seaton would have softened up the back of his car by the look of it, because if you look at it when he changes direction, the back end of the car is a hell of a lot softer now than it was before.
XR Falcon onboard camera. You're riding with Glenn Seaton, looking very, very cool, but he's under enormous pressure here. John Bow right behind him under brakes. Russell Ingle looking for a way through as well. Seaton cranks on a whole armful of lock out of this corner, keeping Bow and Ingle effectively boxed in.
Time's running out. Time is getting away from us in this second race of 3 for today. The Ford Credit Falcon, Glenn Seaton. He has led in this championship for so long. Did, of course, have a bigger points buffer. It's now right down. Pressure's on, and we are on our way home as of now. The last lap border's gone out.
And look how close. It's incredible.
Ingle's done very well to claw his way back. Yep. John Bow right up there with Seaton also.
I tell you what, if Ingle could get through there on the last lap, we call him Houdini.
Well, this is their opportunity. Their last opportunity, the final lap. Can Bow do anything about Seaton? And we go further back and Ingle about Bow.
Yeah, it's very, very tight as they come down through the shell code the final time around. Look at that. 3 in a row. This is a championship battle. Seaton, Bow and Ingle. Bumper to bumper. Through the shell curve, 235 kilometres an hour, braking hard. There's Larry Perkins. Oh! Goodness me.
Yeah, me.
Ingle went so deep under brakes, he locked the rears, he nudged into the back of Bow. Fortunately, Bow was able to keep going. These blokes are serious.
He knew that that was his final opportunity. He had to do something about it. They come up into Bridgestone corner now. They're nice and bunched up. This is the camera from the back of John Bow's car. Greg Murphy comes onto the main straight. 2 wins from 2 starts today. Good on you, Greg Murphy, in the Mobile HRT Commodore in for the win. It's going to be close for that 3rd spot. Perkins will get there for 2nd, and Seaton. So a replay of the first race there with our leading 3 in the championship. Seaton hangs on for that 3rd spot. Only seconds away from a start, the 3rd and final race of round 9. After this, it's grand final time. Ingle gets away with a good start. Perkins is on the inside of Murphy. Larry's going to have the run through, and he's got it. Larry Perkins into the lead.
Fantastic start from Larry Perkins. He really muscled through there. Got a great start. They were side by side for a good 150 metres or more. Spin. Now looks like Russell Ingle.
And Brock.
Brock has gone, Ingle's gone. Ingle gets going again, so he spun. Some pretty bad damage to the front of Peter Brock's car. He's not having a good day here at Mallala at all. Plenty of action on the opening lap.
Looked like Stephen Richards nipped up the inside there, and I couldn't quite catch the end of it.
Look at Brocky's face. He is steamed about that. He is really, really annoyed. And Russell Ingle too, the man who's in the championship. See him talking to the crew there, and you can see the damage on the front of the car. And Russell Ingle too got caught up in that. He'll be furious. He's gone right to the back as well.
Well, he's got a lot of work to do, and that's Larry's point. We go on board again with Peter Brock. He is absolutely disgusted. Have a look at his face. He is so disappointed. He didn't want to say goodbye to his South Australian fans in this fashion. Let's have a look at the replay of the earlier incident. This is on board with Dick Johnson. The Shell Helix in-car camera. Watch they coming around. They're about to go through the left-hander. It's all getting very, very close. Stevie Richards on the inside there. That's Ingle on the far outside, on the right-hand side.
Stevie Richards did a good job of nipping through there.
Seaton's gone out wide. Across comes Ingle, and contact.
Yeah.
Well, so Dick's come into contact with Russell Ingle. And that's turned him around. Brock got caught up in that as well. So Ingle goes right around, very lucky to avoid being hit by another car. Let's look at it from the outside there. Johnson's made contact. Ingle's in a big spin. Another car buried right in behind Johnson. Might have been Faulkner.
Faulkner's come in contact with Brock.
And now Brock does a full pirouette as well.
We got another angle. Let's have another look at this second corner incident from high up. There goes. That is the contact between Johnson and Ingle. He's spinning. Now watch down lower. There is the contact there. Well, that's come way back from Mark Poole.
Oh, it's like Faulkner was taking avoiding action to get so he didn't hit the back of Johnson.
Chaos.
He's gone straight to the side of Brock.
Absolute chaos on turn 2. We get back to the action though. Larry Perkins is still leading the way from Greg Murphy. Perkins got a terrific start and just forced his way on the inside. Bow's got a bit of breathing room sitting there in 3rd position.
It's going to be intriguing now to see the way Murphy has been putting out and just sort of controlling the race from the front. Larry hasn't been losing that much ground. It's going to be really intriguing now to see what happens.
Let's look at the windscreens, O'Brien. Driver profile on Larry Perkins. 5 times Bathurst winner, Australian Formula 4 champion way back in 1971. Euro Formula 3 champion 75. Australian Formula 2 champion back in the early 70s as well. There's his best results this year. 2nds at Phillip Island and Wyndham, 6th at Lakeside and Barbagallo. And it's been a tremendous season for the Castrol Commodores, particularly with the inroads Dunlop's been making in the tyre war, and the cars have been particularly strong at Barbagallo and here today.
Well, two of them in the top 4 in the championship. That's consistency for you. Very good. Larry Perkins leads the way. Can Greg Murphy force his way past? He's got plenty of time to do it. It'd be nice to see Greg Murphy get the clean sweep.
Mark Scapes up to 8th position, after starting off on the back of the grid, so he's really charging. Have some nice fresh tyres on the car. He only didn't get very far in that first heat, didn't compete in the second, so he's got some nice fresh rubber on the car. Here's our race leader.
Is life in the old boy yet?
Yeah, indeed, and he proved that at Barbagallo just a week ago. Under enormous pressure from John Bow. Bow caught him so quickly, you just thought it was a formality. He's going to find his way past, but Larry Perkins held him out masterfully in those changeable conditions.
Well, that's the thing for the Murph, because it's one thing the Murph getting right up the backside of Larry, it's another thing getting past him, isn't it?
John Bow and Glenn Seaton nice and close. Stevie Richards has dropped off a bit. Here's Longhurst on the inside of Dick Johnson. The Castrol Falcon. Oh, tight squeeze through there. Crowd enjoying that.
Look at the side by side. There you go, on board now with Dick Johnson. Tremendous overtaking manoeuvre down the inside. Dick wasn't going to give up his territory without a fight. Shell Helix onboard camera. You're riding with Dick Johnson. Tony Longhurst is coming gangbusters in this final race. He's up to 7th position. Up to 6th position now. Look how close Johnson gets as he muscles the back of the Castrol forward.
Well, it's good to see Tony fight back. Speaking of comebacks, because he's had a rather unenjoyable day, but this is going very well. He's now moved up into 6th position. 2 laps remaining. Glenn Seaton having a good look at John Bow. Here he comes. He lunges right up on the back of Bow through Scotcher Curve. This is quite a difficult section of the circuit. We've seen a lot of people lose ground here. Seaton hasn't lost anything in the Ford Credit Falcon. He's right there with John Bow. We look further back. There's the Valvoline Cummins Commodore of Stephen Richards, still maintaining that 5th position. Longhurst, Johnson, Scaife is up to 8th. 9th is Poole, and Russell Ingle has worked his way up into the top 10. When you think about it, when the guys that he should be fighting it out with, Bow and Seaton, they're 3rd and 4th, he's not going to be too happy about sitting back in 10th.
No, there's nothing he can do about it. He's really had a pretty wretched weekend. He's had plenty of speed out of the car, but just with his qualifying performance, put him right back down the grid. He's been fighting to try and get ahead all the time. And once you get mixed up in the middle of that pack at the start, it's very, very difficult.
We might see a bit of action here. Time running out. Seaton in the Ford Credit Falcon. Pictures here. The XR Falcon in-car camera. He goes to the outside on Bow. Will we see him lunge and make an attempt? He is right with John Bow as we have 1 more lap left to run.
Well, this is really fantastic, the consistency of the Dunlop shot cars now. Normally expected a bit of a Bridgestone bloodbath at Malabar, but these cars have been fast and consistent throughout the whole race. Speaking of fast and consistent, Larry Perkins is evidence of that. Just his last lap was a 1:09.69. And he's been very fast and consistent throughout the race. Greg Murphy has not been able to make an impression on him, even though he's got very, very close. Larry Perkins has been able to hold him out. Final time down Shell Curve. They break hard for Goodyear corner.
Here comes Greg Murphy, putting the pressure on Larry. He's going to do something. He's going to do it fast, and Seaton as well on the outside of Bow. Tucks in behind, and time is running out. A quarter of a lap to run. This is the challenge for the lead. Here comes Greg Murphy. The outside run on Larry Perkins. He's going to tuck it back in nice and tight. Very
hang
ambitious.
around, Larry.
Through the S's, Larry Perkins has got this one in the bag, though. He comes onto the main straight, and this is his 4th win in the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship this year. Well done, Larry Perkins. He spoils the party for Greg Murphy in terms of getting the clean sweep. Murphy in for a good second spot, and Bow will be very happy with that. A good solid run to hang on to that 3rd spot ahead of Seaton. Important finish for John Bow. We're getting set. Such a colourful grid, and this would be fantastic for Brock to win it.
And watch the 2 left-handers, the first left-hander and the second left-hander at the end of the straight. Jonesy, good start on the left-hand side of the picture.
The balloons are let fly. We've got a great start to Heat 1 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship Grand Finale. It's Holden Racing Team side by side. It looks like Greg Murphy on the outside.
Oh!
Brock very tightly squeezed by his teammate on the inside, but through Coca-Cola corner, it looks like Brock's going to lead the pack. Oh,
bit of nudge, wink, wink there through those first couple of corners. Seaton's got himself up there. Looked like Engel got himself up there as well very quickly.
Well, there was plenty of squeeze there on that first corner. Peter Brock it was in 0.5, the poleman muscling his way through on his younger teammate Greg Murphy.
Engel's gone.
Engel, yeah, on the right-hand side of your picture there.
Slowing right down. Russell Engel didn't need that. He was right up there very, very quickly, and now he's gone. He's just drifted back. But it's Brock leads away from Murphy, Seaton, Jones, Longhurst, back to Larkham. Then we pick up John Bow, Wayne Gardner. Let's have a look at the replay of the earlier incident. Watch if you can see any contact. Perhaps that's what's put Russell Engel out.
Somebody locking him up in a major fashion there.
Looks like he's got a big biff from the back. I can't quite see that car at the moment. Looks like it might be John
it looks Faulkner. John Faulkner. Well,
John
that's
Faulkner.
And Larry Perkins off.
Larry.
So that was Perkins who looked like he got hit by Faulkner in that big first lap shuffle. Meanwhile, the field sorting itself out. Peter Brock now in command in Mobile 05. Greg Murphy right behind him in the second of the Mobile Holden Racing Team Commodores. Seaton up to 3rd position, Jones in 4th, and Longhurst in 5th. Now Seaton is sitting pretty right now because John Bow is back in 7th position.
It's going to be really interesting to see what Glenn does, whether he's going to get up there and mix it with Brocky and Murphy, or whether he's going to sit back there and. What would you do? Championships at stake. You can't afford, the Murph having a look at the inside of Brocky. You can't afford when you've got a championship on the line to sort of get up there and get really brave.
Well, Peter Brock starting from pole position. He leads the way now. It would be fantastic for Peter to win this one and, in fact, go on and win the day. Seaton is sitting back there in 3rd. Interesting to see with the manufacturers because early in the year it was pretty much even par. Holden have streaked ahead. They've got double the amount of round wins this year. Holden have got 6 wins, Ford 3 wins, and this is looking pretty ominous at the moment with the 2 Mobile HRT cars out in front looking very strong. Well, the way it stands at the moment with Glenn Seaton sitting in 3rd position and John Bow back in 6th, Seaton has extended the lead, or will have extended his lead as Jones comes up the inside. No. To 10 points. So if they stay as they are, Seaton in 3rd, Bow in 6th, Glenn will have a 10-point lead.
Well, Jones is pushing really hard here, and they go on board with Glenn Seaton, just looking over his shoulder. And that mirror is just going to be full, as XR Falcon onboard camera shows you. Glenn Seaton is really feeling the heat of Alan Jones breathing right down his neck for a nice quick run out of Recaro corner onto the main straight. There's Jones. And the Komatsu Ford tucked right in behind him. The gap to the Holden Racing Team, Giro at the front, the 2 Mobile Commodores. 5 seconds in front.
It does, Jones, it does look like Glenn's car's got a little bit more top-end speed than AJ's, but if it comes to, what can you say? Yes, done him!
Jones up the inside. Seaton gives him racing room too. Doesn't want to get involved in that.
Exactly. Totally my sentiments.
But he does want to keep trying to pick up as many points as he can. So Seaton now riding with him in the Ford Credit Falcon. Alan Jones in front as they head up over the Dunlop Bridge once again. Seaton trying to drive a tactical race here.
When you think about it, Mark, if you had to fight with anybody, I think the last geezer I'd choose would be Jonesy.
Stephen Richards in the Valvoline Cummins Commodore looming in the background as well.
Holden Racing Team, the Mobile Commodores way out in front of this bunch. Oh, there's been a coming together there. Mike Conway and
Wilmington.
Gary Wilmington, yep. But looks like they're both getting back into the race. But the Holden Racing Team opening up this lead, 6.2 seconds the gap. This is the sort of situation Tony Longhurst will relish. Hasn't been particularly competitive throughout the season. Has seen a few high points, but when he gets the package right, it really is a potent combination. And he's really trying to take advantage of it here, trying to close in on Seaton. He's got one lap left, but it looks like Seaton may just have enough up his sleeve to hold him out.
Somebody else who's got one lap left is this guy, Peter Brock. He's only had the one race win all year, which was at Symonds Plains in Tasmania early this year. The windscreen's O'Brien, in-car camera, and those dreadful conditions at Symonds Plains. He's on his way home. He's looking at his second race win of the year. He had a round win at Barbagallo in Western Australia a couple of rounds ago, and the crowd, the fans just went wild. And if he wins here today, the crowd are going to tear the joint apart. It's Murphy still in second. Jones, Seaton, Longhurst, Gardner, Bow, Faulkner, Richards and Johnson. They're your top 10. Stephen White is doing well. He's got himself up into 11.
Yeah, some of the cars have had problems with noise restrictions here. Trying all sorts of different systems to try and keep the exhaust systems down below the DBA level. Peter Brock heading toward the checkered flag. Boy, this guy really knows how to bow out in style.
No, you say that again.
He is quite often when you see drivers get toward the end of their career.
The crowd.
Quite often when you get, they go, oh, cheering him on. Tremendously popular driver. But you see drivers get toward the end of their career, maybe they're not on the same form as they used to be, but Brock is going out right on top. He's just as competitive as ever.
Last lap, last corner. Here he comes, the king of the road. From pole position, he wins race 1 at Oran Park. Well done, Peter Brock and his Mobil HRT teammate, Greg Murphy. Alan Jones in for second. The battle's on for fourth.
Look at that.
Seaton just gets there. We're getting ourselves set. Watch the lights. Brock off pole position, away we go. Jones got away to a good start as well. He sort of moves in the middle. Murphy moved over a little bit, and here they come.
Look at Seaton down the outside. Whoa.
Big charge down toward the first corner. Mobil Commodore on the inside. Seaton up in second position. Jones up to third.
Let's have a look at this.
Oh, there's a car stopped.
Oh, there's one stalled in the back there.
Yeah.
There goes Russell Ingall. He is just turning around. Mark Oslis caught up with Russell Ingall, and here he is.
Oh, look at the impact.
Well, I'm here with an obviously disappointed Russell Ingall. I can't believe it. Two races, 2 incidents. What happened there?
Yeah, like you said, sometimes you shouldn't get out of bed in the morning, should you? Yeah, I don't know. I got a pretty good start actually, and just feeding my way through, and I see there was someone stalled on the grid. And it looks like everyone's tried to avoid him, and there was cars going everywhere, and someone's tagged me on the way through and just sent me around, and then after that it was just a passenger. I got hit a couple more times and slammed into the fence, and that was about it.
Set for the restart. This is heat 2. Let's take 2. We do it again. You can see that gap.
Jones creeping a little bit. Look, you see AJ had a little bit of a creep there.
Murphy's got away to a great start once again. Jones is up alongside Brock. Look at Jones.
Oh, go!
Hang on for Jonesy.
What a save!
Unbelievable save, but they haven't gone through yet. They're all coming down to Coca-Cola corner. Jones manages to catch it up. Gardner a good start too in the Coke Commodore. He's on the outside. Goodness me, we almost had a repeat of Heat 2. The first start for Heat 2 as they thunder under Dunlop Bridge and down towards Shell Corner for the first time. Look at these guys sorting each other out.
We just have to hope there that it hasn't pushed the front mud guards onto the front tyres, because it did look a little bit like that. Watch for smoke.
This looks like the camera out of the front of Peter Brock's Mobil HRT Commodore. We saw Greg Murphy getting hassled by, or rather it was Peter Brock getting hassled by Wayne Gardner. They come down through the dip.
In actual fact, Brocky changed a spoiler on the start. Just before the start of the race, he came into contact with Wayne Gardner in the early part of that other race, and broke a big lump out of the spoiler.
Meanwhile, I don't think John Bowers even made it back to pits. The car was had an intermittent misfire in that engine in the first heat, which he was struggling with toward the end.
Whoa, look at the damage on the left-hand side of Brock's car.
A big field sorting themselves out through Recaro corner and down the straight for the first time.
Gardner appears to have dropped back just one position because Longhurst is up there now. Longhurst went tremendously well in the first heat. He's having another good run of it here. We're watching Greg Murphy. He is your race leader in your Mobil HRT Commodore. Then back to Jones. Then we pick up Brock, Longhurst, Gardner through, Seaton through, and Stephen Richards is up there.
Well, John Bowers in all sorts of trouble. He's right at the back of the grid, 26th position. Some sort of technical problem with the car. He's still going, but that's really going to hurt his championship chase.
Jones is definitely on a mission. Let's hope he can keep it all together, but he's definitely having a go.
Darren Hossack, Gibson Motorsport Commodore, just bought by the Wins team. Fred Gibson running the car this weekend, but here's our race leader, Greg Murphy.
Murph hit the curve.
Really attacking this Oran Park circuit, a repeat of his form at Mallala. Very dominantly holding racing team cars toward the end of the season. Certainly showing that form here as he crests the rise over the dogleg. Alan Jones in pursuit, then there's Brock in third. Longhurst very competitive in fourth. Wayne Gardner in fifth, and there's our championship leader, Glenn Seaton, in sixth position.
Well, to give you an indication of how much bad luck Murph's had this year, he's only won 3 less races than Glenn Seaton. Seaton's won 9 this year, Murphy's won 6, but it's been that consistency factor of the other placings where Seaton's picked up seconds and thirds. Unfortunately, Greg has had some non-starts where he's had mechanical problems, or he's had some incidents where he's left the circuit, so he's still had a good year in terms of wins. 6 wins from the season's not too bad.
Yeah, Jones's last lap was quicker than Murphy's, so Jones is definitely on the hammer.
Murphy's certainly shown his speed in qualifying too. 5 pole positions this year, including the one at Oran Park this weekend, so he's only had the speed, just had the luck. There's Tony Longhurst in the Castrol Falcon. Very competitive run. We saw him almost take Seaton in that first heat. Now he's closing in behind Peter Brock.
Well, the Yokohama cars are going pretty well here today. 4th and 5th, Longhurst and Gardner. Gardner's doing well. Longhurst, he was very happy with that first heat run. He's chasing Peter Brock at the moment.
And Seaton will be very comfortable with this position. I was talking to his manager, Noel Watson, in between races. Glenn was very busy setting up the car, but they're just driving a percentage meeting now. As long as he knows he's got John Bowe behind him, he can win the championship. So he is just maintaining position. As long as he's in front of that Shell 18 Ford, he's happy.
Well, coming into this race, he had a 10-point lead, so it's sort of being handed to him on a plate now, isn't it? It's being made a lot easier for him.
It deserves to be handed to him on a plate. What we've got to remember is Lakeside, Winton, and you know, he's had an awful lot of bad luck. So really, as it stands, the rightful owner of the championship is Glenn Seaton.
And beyond that, his bad luck, Barry, is the fact that he's won more races than anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so he's a worthy champion. Gardner's really giving Longhurst the old hurry up here.
The 2 Yokohama runners, Gardner. This is the front angle from Seaton's car. Let's see if Gardner can work his way past Tony Longhurst. This is the view from the front of the Ford Credit Falcon, the XR Falcon on-car camera. They come through underneath the Dunlop Bridge. Incredible section here. They really brake very, very hard. It's a little deceiving there. Then back on the gas very quickly down through the dip and onto the back part of the circuit.
So Seaton just playing the waiting game, sitting in there. He knows John Bowe's in trouble. He would have been contacted by his team manager, Tony Murphy, on the radio says to say Bowe was in trouble. That would have let Seaton breathe a little bit easier. Let's have a look at an incident.
Mark Larkham's gone around.
Oh, dear.
And Darren Hossack.
Trevor Ashby.
Looks like a dance.
Trevor Ashby spinning in sympathy.
Very steep hill. Television doesn't do it justice.
Windscreens O'Brien driver profile on Alan Jones, our Formula 1 world champion. 18 years ago now. It's a long time, isn't it? British Formula 3 champ, 72. Can-Am champion in America in 78. Australian Sport Sedan champion in the Porsche in 82. And there's his best result so far. 5th and the 4th, the 10th. 4th at Barbagallo. He got off to a flying start at the beginning of the season. But oh, Murphy's come off.
Oh, Murph, what have you done?
You can hear that squealing of tyres. Someone spun. You couldn't tell where it was. Peter Brock, his teammate's just gone in front of him. So Murphy looked like he was all on his own. It's come in a little bit too hot and he's looped it. Look at the dust and dirt falling out of the back of the car.
Oh, well, that's made AJ's day.
So Alan Jones, all of a sudden, sort of biting at the heels of car 15. He finds himself in the lead. Let's look at that on the Shell Helix replay. Murphy all on his own. Yep.
Oh.
He's just spun the back around.
Well, not only does that make AJ's day, but it certainly helps Brock on his way to perhaps winning another round here at Oran Park.
It did look like he was he kind of understeered a lot, and then sort of tried to bring it round, and it was all too late.
So Alan Jones is around about half a lap from home. He hasn't had a race win this year in the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. He'll be giving Ford their 12th race win of the year, and he'll be getting his maiden win of the year. There's not too much longer to go now. Here he is in the Komatsu Pertec Falcon. The last corner, he comes out of Recaro Speedline onto the main straight. Well done, Alan Jones. It's the grand final. You've picked up your first win of the year. Good work, AJ. He gets there ahead of Peter Brock for second, and his Mobile HRT teammate Greg Murphy will get there for third. Longhurst for fourth, and Glenn Seaton will get there for 5th position, and Seaton takes out the 1997 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Getting ready, the last race of the 1997 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Can Jonesy make it 2 from 2? Green, away we go, and Alan Jones does get away to a good start ahead of Greg Murphy, ahead of Peter Brock, and Murphy came up very strong.
Fantastic start from Alan Jones, but even better from Peter Brock.
Down the inside.
He really wants to win this one. Sneaks through on the inside. So Peter Brock is back in third, fourth position. Greg Murphy made a fantastic start to muscle inside Alan Jones. So it'll be Murphy leading down under the bridge and into Coca-Cola for the first time.
Down tight, hard it is. Look at Gardner getting sandwiched there in between Stephen Richards and Peter Brock. He goes out wide. Brock slipped through on the inside. Longhurst is up there behind Seaton. Then it's Brock, then Gardner. Then we pick up Larry Perkins. Stephen White's up there.
Look at Dick Johnson trying to come through the field after earlier problems. He's got his work cut out for him as they thunder over the Dunlop Bridge. And down toward Momo Corner for the first time. Greg Murphy in control. He's having a good day.
A lot of smoke coming there from the Holden Young Lions. Entry Stephen White. Dick Johnson just slips up the inside there. As we go on board, the Mobile HRT Commodore of Peter Brock. Last time we'll do it here at Oran Park. Down into Recaro Speedline Corner, hard on the brakes, right up on the back of Tony Longhurst. The windscreen's O'Brien view from the front of Brocky's car.
So the order as they come across the start-finish lines. Murphy with Jones, Seaton in third position, Longhurst, Brock, Gardner, Richards, Faulkner, Perkins and Markham. That's your top 10. You're riding with Peter Brock in 5th position. His teammate Greg Murphy made a blinder. Brock got a little bit boxed in, so he's back in 5th with a lot of work to do.
Now remember, if you've just joined us, we'll bring you up to date. Glenn Seaton has already wrapped up the 1997 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. He has a 30-point lead on John Bowe. Now, if John Bowe was able to win this race, which he isn't because he hasn't shown up. We've just got word through. I was about to say if he won this race, Seaton would win on a count back anyway, but we just got confirmation then that there is no Bowe out on the circuit, so we're not quite sure what happened.
It'd be interesting to see in this. I think you'll find that Seaton's going to have a real ding-dong, a real go in this if he can, because he's got nothing to lose now. You know, in the previous 2 races, he had the championship basically to throw away, and it could be so easy to do. So, you know, we're only 2 laps in of 18, and I think you'll find that Seaton's going to be up there.
I spoke to the Shell team just before this race started. They've been dogged by that intermittent misfire in the car 18. John Bowe's been driving. It became a real problem, and they couldn't find the source of the problem, so it just put John out. It's been wretched luck for the Shell team at a critical day in the championship.
Laser speed, it was climbing as we went down the straight. That's the speed coming into the corner as Brock moves right up onto Longhurst. Gardner staying in touch, so too is Stephen Richards. Faulkner, the top privateer. Darren Hossack is up into 9th, and Mark Larkham in the top 10.
Brock's really on a charge here. Last race at Oran Park, last Shell championship round, and he's really attacking the back of Tony Longhurst Falcon. You can see him looking for a run down the inside. That time into Shell corner. Follows him up through Champion Curve onto the bridge once again. Peter Brock in 5th position and really pumped for a big result. So Murphy holds this lead. Jones has not been able to capitalise. Each of these 3 drivers looking for the guy to make a mistake.
It's good with this shot because you can see what I was talking. Look at the crowd there. Unbelievable.
They come onto the main straight. This is lap 12 of 18. We're running them down now. There is only 7 laps left to run. And there we go. As I was mentioning to you earlier on, all the results from Oran Park here today.
Oh, AJ!
All around Australia, all results, you can get it on the internet, racetime.oz.nf.
You get the feeling he's really going to have a go down there one of these laps.
Oh, like this one.
He's really getting very, very close to Murphy. He was almost into his rear door there. So he's going a little bit deeper. And if you can find the Komatsu Ford right alongside him.
I think you'll find, if you look on the front of AJ's car, just behind the light on the left-hand side, there's a white mark there, and it looks as if AJ might have a little touch there. You see just behind the headlight there on the left.
We were mentioning earlier that Stephen White, there was quite a bit of smoke coming from the Holden Young Lions car. Stephen's dropped right back to something like 24th position. He was running in the top 10, so that's a shame for young Stephen. He was going so well. Perkins is back in 11th. It hasn't been a day for the Castrol Commodores, that's for sure.
I reckon AJ's going to have it at the end of the straight where you go around that left-hander. If he gets a good sort of good run into that, down, not really close enough, down round this left-hand bit and then down the little hill, and he's not quite close enough. This seems to be the place where AJ likes. You see how much ground he makes there.
Yeah.
All the pressure on Greg Murphy. Alan Jones, the challenger, looking for his second win of the year, come in the same day. Picked up his first win in this 97 season. Well, race 2 today. Can he make it his second win of the season in this one? Good battle further back in the pack. Here we have Longhurst, Gardner. And we go back to John Faulkner. We pick up Dick Johnson starting to tag on now as well.
Stevie Richards is closing the gap to Peter Brock in 4th position. So some battles really heating up as we count them down toward the checkered flag. And Greg Murphy!
What did he do?
Well, you take your eyes off it for a second. And Murphy, whether he cracked under pressure or whether there was a collision, we don't know at this stage, but whatever, the result is that Alan Jones and Glenn Seaton have ducked through. Just Murphy back to 3rd position.
Mark, I just saw the side. Oh, Jones is gone! I was just about to say, I saw Alan Jones's mirror on the right-hand side. It was broken and just dangling. Now he's run off as well, so whether they've come in contact, and Baz, your money's looking good.
I was going to say, he just played me at the end, chaps.
Oh, look, I don't believe it.
No, that was a shame. That's obviously, as you say, Lee, there's been a bit of bit of
a tangle there.
Alan Jones looked like he was going to have a go. He was setting him up. He was looking at him for a few laps. He obviously had a big dive down into the Recaro corner coming onto the main straight.
Let's have a look at the Shell Helix replay. This is the in-car shot from Glenn
AJ on
Seaton.
the inside. Yes, up the inside, a little bit of a touch. And
well, he had a go. Collision between the Mobile Commodore and the Komatsu Ford.
And Glenn says, thank you very much.
Jones is out. That is a real shame for AJ. He'll be disappointed with that. Just about to say, though, it will be a fitting end to this season if Glenn Seaton can remain where he is. It would be his 10th race win of the year, and going out in this 3rd and final race of the day, in the last race of the year, as champion.
What we were saying about good fortune shining on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but what goes around comes around. You think of some of the bad luck he's had this year. It's
Well, exactly, and he's always said his major goal in his racing career, he's still got a lot of years left in him, but he wants to get one Bathurst victory under his belt. Let's hope 1997 can be it. So,
and the way the points stand at the moment, Peter Brock leads the day. Can you believe that?
Oh, wouldn't that be absolutely supreme for Brocky to win the day? That would be great.
Our man with the maths, Nigel Greenway, is just working overtime here at the moment. He's going frantic with all these positional changes. So Peter Brock leads the day's points at the moment and could win this 10th and final round.
Well, he's pretty good at making the fairy tales come through.
Exactly.
There's the man of the moment at work, hard at work. We were mentioning earlier that he and Bev, his wife, did a couple of laps around the Oran Park circuit in the back of a Holden Ute, waved to the crowd. The cheers were just amazing. They had a lovely song playing over the public address system.
Well, it's going to be an emotional moment, this last few laps of Oran Park. It's the last time we'll see Peter Brock in action after a fantastic 30-year career. Many Australian Touring Car Championships he competed in. And this is the last time they'll see him at Oran Park. But keep in mind, still the Sandown 500 and the Australian 1000 Classic. Oh, what's happened here? It's got some debris or something hanging underneath the car.
Oh, boy.
Now, is that from a collision? I'm not sure. Looks like it might be damaged bodywork. We'll try and get a closer look at that.
It is.
No, it looks like
something else underneath, is it?
I don't know. It does look like he's picked something up, but...
Oh, it is his bodywork, yeah.
Oh,
he's off. Oh, well, not all fairy tales work.
Oh, what has happened here?
That is a real shame.
Oh.
We're trying to work out what has gone on, but Peter Brock has just lost a lot of positions.
The way that sort of lower spoiler on the side is broken off, it looks like he's run over something rather than someone hit him.
Well, there's been no one that's been near him.
Yeah, the cost was in debris or something on the circuit. It's done a lot of damage to the car. We're riding with Glenn Seaton. Meanwhile, what a shame for Peter Brock, but no such sad stories for Glenn Seaton. XR Falcon onboard camera takes you on the last lap around Oran Park. Here's your new 1997 Shell Australian Touring Car Champion, Glenn Seaton. And he's only got one more lap.
He's chewing that brake door pretty frantically.
I bet that shot gives his dentist a nightmare.
Well, we've seen Glenn on many occasions. He likes to talk himself around the track in qualifying. during the race. He'd be just saying, come on, come on. He's already got it in the bag, but this is a great way to go out on season 97. The Shell Australian Touring Car Championship as the champ, as the new champ, and winning the final race. He's only half a lap from home. He's heading down onto the back part of the Oran Park circuit. And you can listen to the cheers of the crowd. They know he is the man. He's the champ for 97. He's only got one more corner left to run. He comes down into Recaro Speedline. Murphy's in the background there. But what a day, what a year for this guy. It's just the one car, it's a small team. They worked so hard. Well done, Glenn Seaton. He wins race 3 and the 97 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship.
Oh, you can see that grin from ear to ear. It's been a hard year. Glenn, Tony Murphy and the boys at the Ford Credit Racing team had some misfortune. We saw him run off the road at Lakeside. Did the same thing at Barbagallo a few weeks later. Looked like it was all turning sour for him, but look at Murphy giving him the thumbs up. Well done, Glenn.
That was a shame for Murph. That would have been interesting.
Here's Peter Brock still battling with the car. He's finished. He's making his way around now. He's coming down towards the checkered flag. Well,
it almost came true.
Lost a lot of positions, and unfortunately that will cost him the win here today. But that won't change the crowd's opinion.
No, there's no doubt about that.
Overall winner, put your hands together for Greg Murphy. Keep saying it, the year didn't start off particularly well for you, but boy, it's come good at the end.
Yeah, it's ended pretty strange, but I've got a lot of people to thank. Mobil, Holden, Bridgestone and HSV and everyone else who supports us. Thank you very, very much. And I must just congratulate Glenn, the deserved winner of the championship. I think he did a sensational job.
And thought it was a very sporting gesture, giving him the thumbs up as you came down in the slowdown lap. It's quite a signal for a Holden driver.
Oh no, you know, I wish a Holden could have won it, but that wasn't the way it was going to be. And the guy who won it, you know, he worked hard all year, and it's been a hard championship. And you know, we've won a few races at the end, which is a shame because we should have been winning them halfway through. But you know, that's the way it goes. We're just really happy to be here.
Congratulations, Greg. At this point, I'd like to call on Ross Brody, the motorsport manager for Shell, to make the presentation to our man who is second overall today, but he's our new Shell Australian Touring Car Champion, Glenn Seaton. Boy, oh boy. Glenn, congratulations, boy. It was a tough fight, wasn't it? There was times when it wasn't quite going right for you, but you battled on and came through in the end. Well done.
Yeah, it's been a sensational year for the guys in the team. Thank you very much, because it's been their hard work. Without them, there's definitely no way I'd be here. My sponsors, Ford Credit, Ford Motor Company, Bridgestone Tyres, Mobil, Ingersoll Rand, and all the associated sponsors involved in the team. Thank you very much. But thank you to all the public and all the teams who actually supported me to try and win the championship. Thank you very much.
When you were having those dramas, like the problem at Lakeside and the problem later at Barbagallo, did you just start thinking to yourself, uh-oh, what's going wrong here?
Well, really, it probably put a bit more pressure on me more than anything, and I just had to try and get on with the job. But that's motor racing. That's what we come here for, to have a competition at the end, and it's come down to a competition at the end. It's a shame John's car couldn't run in the second and third race, but I'm just glad that it's all over, to tell you the truth, because I was putting a fair bit of pressure on myself this weekend to perform, and I really felt a relief after the end of the second race and be able to get on with it for the third race.
Okay, 1997's been pretty kind to you. The newest Shell Australian Touring Car Champion. Now we've got the big one at Bathurst, 19th of October, the Australian 1000 Classic. Can you do it at last?
Well, I hope so, but there's probably a lot of other teams out there that are going to say no to that. But it's going to be a hell of a battle this year at Bathurst. It's so close in the competition, and I think at the end of the day, one day we'll get there. Hopefully it is this year, but one day we'll get there.
We hope so too. Put your hands together, folks. Glenn Seaton, the 1997 Shell Australian Touring Car Champion. Lee Diffie, the champagne corks are about to fly at the end of a champagne season.